Good morning, y'all. What's good? What's good? What's good? 420. What's up? Talking about 420. It's that time right here. It's 420 time here. Even though it's not really 420, we can make believe. Smoke on some white truffle infused with some GMO bubble hash. Yeah, baby. What a beautiful morning it is here. What a beautiful morning. I love it, man. I love a nice, cool morning like this in the summer. This is a typical August morning. It's about 63, 64 degrees right now. By the end of the day, it'll be around 90. And then we'll have a nice, cool evening, probably 70, and drop down, back down to into the 60s. Be a nice evening tonight. No wind, no rain. Doesn't seem to be no fog. Just a little overcast. But other than that, fucking beautiful, y'all. Beautiful. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I've lived in a lot of places, big cities, small towns, you name it. I'm the everywhere man, you know? And this is definitely the most tranquility you could get, you know? This is just, it's peaceful, it's quiet, good place to raise a family. Although unfortunately, the uh, the drug pandemic is hitting us here and hitting us hard now officially. But hey, that's a problem everywhere. That's an issue that our government should focus on trying to solve. But that's another topic for another day. But for real though, like the tide's coming in before long. There ain't gonna be much beach left. I'm gonna be on just a little nubble. You'll see what I'm talking about here. Me and the dog. Hi, dog. We've been out running, playing on the beach. So, but other than that, it's a nice day. I don't know if you guys can see them, but out in the distance, there's some boats out hauling the gear. I count one, two, three boats, four boats out across there. There's two over here towards the, it would be my right. There's one straight out in between the island and the other island out there. And then there's one over here in front of the island to the left. But it's like this here jib up and let's get some thinking going. Kajasa, good morning. Jesus, K. We go through this. I'm a damn retard. I can't pronounce your name. You still haven't come up. If I hear it from you, I could probably say it. But Kajasa, yeah, I butcher it. I'm sorry. I'm a retard. I'm a down east lobsterman. I can't say words. Oh yeah, you've told me casa. Yeah, you've told me that. You've told me that before. Don't pronounce the J. See, and I always try to pronounce the J. See, we could never date in real life, because you would hate me. You'd be like, I can't be you. I couldn't date somebody I couldn't say my name. See, that's how that works. My old boss, he used to. I used to work at a Chinese restaurant, and the guy owned and cooked in the kitchen. He he was from Hong Kong, and his name was Charlie. And I go, and I knew that wasn't his real name. I go, how did you pick the name Charlie? He goes, well, you see, nobody could pronounce my name. So he goes, I like the name Charlie. So I picked Charlie. I go, good enough. Hey, see, at least I can make you laugh though. I could make you laugh though. That would be a that. See, that might counteract the me mispronouncing the name. At least I can see. I can make you laugh. Ha ha. I'm sitting on what's called, just to let everybody know, this is what's called Flake Point Bar. This is a working beach. People park here and have their boats here. So they'll park here. A couple of the guys will, and they go out to the boat and they go haul. Clammers. This is a clammers beach. A lot of clams are dug here. Maine clams. And this piece of land you see over here to the left, that's an island. That's Dunn Island, if I'm not mistaken. Straight ahead, that is Roke Island. See? K. See? See K. That would work. There was a, I remember there was a Mexican fella when I was in school and all that. He went to another school till we get to high school, like in junior high and shit. So we'd play soccer against each other, and his name's Gustavo. Well, I'd call him Pistachio or Gazootide or anything but his actual name until we got into high school, and then whatever. But then sometimes I wonder if back then, if it was me not knowing his name or me just being a dick. Who knows? I mean, I was in like seventh, eighth grade, so who the hell knows? But it's funny because we reminisce about them stories when we see each other. I'll call him his real name now, and then he'll bring out one of them names I used to call him. So it's kind of funny. Hell of a soccer player, man. Hell of a soccer player. Used to always get pissed because our coach would keep him back as sweeper, and he'd be like, "Why? I'm the only one that could score a goal." And it's true. A lot of times our goals were scored by him. It's because he would take over the game. He would leave his position, piss the coach off, and score. He'd steal the ball and run the whole goddamn field with it. I mean, that boy could play some soccer. For this area, growing up, that was one of the best soccer players around, hands down. Then Maine. Now Maine, we got a kid named Cooper Flagg here in Maine. He's like the number one, number two ranked high school player in the whole entire country. Like he just reclassed himself to a class of 2024 instead of class of 2025. So he's graduating a year early. And this dude has offers from like Duke and NC State and and UCLA and Oklahoma, Ohio, like all the big names, man. Syracuse. Like this dude is cashew. Cashew. Cash for you. What the fuck? Cashew. Yeah, that would be a what the fuck thing. Beautiful day, baby. I just want to put a PSA out there for Gumby, Sewage, Dave, bro, Ashy Dave, Savage Dave, whatever the hell he wants to go by, bro. You need to think before you speak, sir. Just a friendly reminder, because you're giving people a lot of content because you're putting your fucking foot in your fucking mouth. Like your head's so far up your ass, I don't think you realize what the fuck you're saying half the time. Just saying, y'all. Not trying to bring no drama over here. But, just trying to, if Dave does hear this little clip, just know, bro, you do put your foot up your ass a lot when you speak. Because you don't think before you let the words just flow from that fucking mouth. So, I don't know if you're a little punch drunk, if your fucking brain's a little punky, but okay, Kay, you have a beautiful day. Be blessed. Be blessed. But yeah, this is just a little pop up. I say, why not? Have the day off. It's early in the morning. Got plenty of time to do shit all day. All these birds down on the beach. I don't know if you guys can see it quite, but way to the far left, there's like 100 birds on the beach. Probably more than that, really. But those are all birds. And I don't know if they're there nesting or if they're eating something. But there was a lot of birds on the shore right there. Mayhem! What's up, Mayhem? How are you? Masha, 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 Masha. It is, ain't it? It's a fucking beautiful view, I believe. Absolutely beautiful. Well, I'm glad to hear that you were. Yeah, they're starting to come offshore a little bit. They're starting to come offshore a little bit. We're starting to pick them up. I've made uh 13 1300 between the last 3 times we've gone. So that ain't bad. That's over half a quarter of the check. Because I think me and the other guy, we get paid 25% piece. So we got chicken butt, VTV. What's killing us right now is the expense, man. That it's not a really high price for them. Boat price is only two 260 a pound, I think. Of course, they hold $2 back, so it's actually like 460. But I mean traps. I mean even just for a smaller trap, they're still over $100 a piece. Probably. They're probably. I think a 40. Well, 4.5 foot, so a 52.5 trap is $112 or something like that. Baits outrageous. I mean, you're paying $34 a bucket for herring, and half of it's not even herring, it's fucking mackerel. So it's like, what the fuck? And which I don't understand, they increased their quota for the bait fishermen. So therefore, you would think the price would ease up a little bit on the bait, but no, no. It's the opposite. And then your pig hide, that's like $50 a bucket, which is outrageous. I mean, yeah, you can make your own traps, but you're still, even if you buy the wire and the kits and all that and everything and put them together yourself, you're still $100 because I mean you're buying everything to put it together. Like for us, if we lost, say you lose a troll, which us is 20 traps, that's 3,500 to $4,000. Poof, gone. That's just traps. That's not counting the rope. That's not counting uh all your dog bones, the labs, the bungee, you know. But I mean, luckily I work for a good captain. He takes $1 up front from the rebate, so that's cool. And then he shifts and alternates days we don't do so well. He sets the bait down, which at the end of the year comes out of the rebate, or or if it's a good day, we pay for everything right then and there. So it offsets. So as I tell people, yeah, at least I'm getting part of my rebate up front, so that's nice. At least I know it's guaranteed. So I work for a really good captain. I've known him for a long time. We've been good friends for a long time, but this is the first year I've actually ever worked for him. So I used to work for his cousin, and I tell you what a big difference, man. His cousin's like balls to the wall. Let's go. Let's get the shit done. Us, it's like let's get the shit done, but let's not kill ourselves at the same time. Like you know what I mean? Like his haul is not fast. His pod haul is not fast, but I tell you what, you could turn bottom with that damn thing. I mean, that thing has so much power that if you're not careful, uh, I'm in Jonesport, man. So some of the best fishing in the world comes out of here. Lobster fishing, man, out of these waters. Jonesport, it's in Maine, but it's the only Jonesport in the whole entire world. So all you gotta do is Google Jonesport, USA, and it'll bring you right here. That's a little cool fact. There ain't many towns that can say we're the only one in the whole entire world. I don't know. We might get some rain. I don't know. Softly. I don't know. It does look like it's clearing up to the east. Yeah, yeah. This is beautiful right here. I love it. As I was saying, this is a working beach, a working front beach right here. Like a lot of money's made on this beach. The sandbar, really, that's all this is. A little sandbar, a little peninsula. Oh, in this, I mean, there's everything. There's everything in here. I mean, people dig clams here. There's uh, pogies, which are like what's the actual name? Like uh, mahogany. Pogies, anyways. Heron. They lobster up through here. Uh, let's see. There's eels up in here. There's what like everything. It's 9 o'clock. Oh, 9:10 to be precise. Yeah, ew. Time for breakfast. What are you having good? Hey, dog. What do you know? What do you know? Look at us. Yeah, there we go. I love that. It's a good breakfast. I like sausage gravy with over home fries. That's good too. French toast. Well, well, we would call that Canadian bacon over here. The ham. I never really understood that Canadian bacon. I'm like, it's ham. It's literally ham. But bacon is ham too, because it's the same damn animal. Yeah, yeah. Unless you like don't get it smoked or whatever, but if you like have your own pigs and you raise them and you slaughter them or whatever, I mean, it all pretty much tastes the same, just the fat content, really, in my opinion. Fresh pork, I mean, I guess store bought stuff or whatever, but I never did understand it. My kid won't eat ham. She hates ham, but she loves bacon. She likes pork chops. Will not touch bacon. Does not make sense to me. Jonathan, salute. Jonathan Mazzelli, liberty of death, is in the fucking chat, y'all. Like, whoop, woo. uh, Look at that bug outside. The fucking little no-see-um. Look at that. The no-see-um is flying around outside on the window. Looks pretty big in the camera, huh? And then you see it on the window. It's tiny as hell. Black flies, minges, whatever you call them. No-see-ums. I don't know. Here, I think it's about that for half a pig. Maybe it's a little bit more. But I feel like, well, I guess it has been a while since I bought one too. In like 10 years, so actually, I don't know. All right, man. Yeah, it got rained out, huh, Jonathan? Well, hopefully it's one of them jobs that you get paid no matter what, as long as you showed up for work. It ain't your fault that it got canceled because of the rain. All right, man. Be careful and have a good morning and rest of your day. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. But yeah, Jonathan, hopefully you got one of them jobs that they do that. Yeah. Hey, it happens. Well, that's good though that it happens sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Balances out then. I died. Rip it. It isn't. Sometimes it's nice to have a day off. I know me. Sometimes day off's good, and I don't do much on my day offs either. Chill out, fuck around on YouTube. Cause really, on the boat, man, my legs they take a toll. They really do. Always bumping into shit, ripping and tearing on rope and traps and anchors. It oh takes some damage on the body. That's for sure. And I'm pretty much on my feet all day, running traps back and forth, stacking them, throwing them off. Depends on how we're doing it for the day. Tell you what, I'm starting to get too damn old for that shit though. I just it's hard to pass up the good money when the times are good. I mean, it's not always gravy, but when it is, man, the money's there, and that's what I like about it. I like working on the water and the ocean, the shit you see, the animals, the sea life, the planes, the boats. The other day, Saturday, we were out hauling, and damn wardens, it's a good feeling. Wardens out doing the job, checking shit, making sure the Canadians aren't over the line and the Americans ain't over on the Canadian, doing the job like they should be, and making sure everybody had boats are, legal boats and all that. Like, it's a good feeling to see them in the air. It's kind of cool. Like buzz right over low, so they're there. They're not trying to hide. They're not trying to be, they make their presence known. So don't get me wrong. In other parts of the area, they can be a little bit douchebags. But our group of wardens that we got down here, the Marine Patrol, they're a pretty good group of guys. They're old timers, a lot of them. But there's some new ones that they're training and working with, and that's been around for a few years, and they kind of fit right in. They'll for the violations they need to fine you for and bust you for, they will, and the things they get can give you a break for, they will. You know, that's the cool thing about them around here. They're not always out to make a buck. Dagmar, what's up? Ah, shit, it's raining. It's starting to rain. I am. I'm doing great, Dagmar. I'm doing great. This morning. Although I guess I didn't realize it was going to rain. I mean, I knew it was overcast, but although I don't think it's going to be I just think it's a passing shower. Because it's not a really dark cloud. It's a holiday. Holiday, holiday. We're gonna party at the motel holiday and we're gonna party hotel motel holiday in. Get it in, baby. Yo, yo. Hey, hey, hey. Ha! Hey, hey, hey. Like in the hole. Fuck, man. Someone hit that fucking link. I'm going crazy talking to myself. I can't do this shit. I'm a good host. I'm a good commentator. But fuck. I mean, I'm just a tall, lanky motherfucker. I mean, I don't, sometimes I don't always have the best footwork. Because my legs aren't the greatest. Because of the dumb shit I've done. So, everybody used to ask if I had it tucked into my shoe. And I was tripping over it. So, why the fuck not? So, long story short, I'm that dude that's gonna. Oh, Dagmar's got a vacation. But yeah, as I was saying, long story short, when I used to have to do drills and shit like in soccer or or baseball and shit like that, and we would do running drills and like we'd have to do the cross leg shit, I would just trip. I would just trip and shit. So that's just where it kind of came from. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. You know how much dumb shit, you know how much shit I've jumped off of in my life? Fucking 20, 30 feet in the fucking air. I'm a fucking, be like, hey, look, I'm a fucking gazelle. Look, I'm gonna jump. Woo! Or fucking be with your friends, fucking climb up something and be like, I'll bet you this, you won't jump or you can't make it or something like that, and you fucking do it. No stupid shit. Truth or dare. We used to do all kinds of stupid shit as kids. Paintball wars with no fucking mask, no gear. Fucking walk up close range, fucking shoot each other in the fucking face and shit. Well, side of the head, not the face, but side the fucking head, back of the head. Come home, fucking covered in paint, fucking take a shower, get out, fucking my arms and my legs be covered in fucking welts from the damn the paintball. My mother be like, what the fuck were you doing? The good times. You can't do that shit now, man. You got a bunch of kids running around town, fucking into the woods and shit now, shooting each other with paintballs. There'd be some fucking Karen or Darren that would fucking call the cop. You know, it's like, what the fuck, man? We used to have fun. Like the field that I'm talking about, we used to run in. I look now, there's a fucking house built there. I'm like, holy fuck. Oh, it's funny. You look back to your teenage years and the shit you did, and you're like, you thought you were such a badass back then, or something like that. You know, it's funny because you look at the shit, and then you're just like, what the fuck, man? Nowadays, you would be that wouldn't even be, you'd be like somebody would look at you and be like, what the fuck are you doing? No, no, man. Them kids from nowadays, if they grew up in our time, man, you or went back, they'd fucking be all pussified, man. Like I love my kids to death, but Jesus Christ, man, I got one kid. She's a hell of an artist. Don't get me wrong. She can draw. She can do all this shit. You know, she's getting up there. She's gonna be in high school next year. So this is her last year of junior high. You know, it's kind of like holy fuck. But she sits upstairs and fucking draws and watches shit on YouTube and Netflix and plays Roblox. I'm like, what the fuck, kid? You know? And then I get another kid. She like she's a year younger, and you would think she was already in high school and shit. It's like, no, 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 no. No. Fuck no. Like you take a phone away from her and it's like the end of the fucking world. It's like go outside, fucking run through the fucking woods. Go do something. Like go fucking make a mud pie. Go do something. Go get fucking dirty. I just don't I don't understand society now as a whole and how we've let people get so fucking soft. And then here it is YouTube, you got grown ass fucking men up here acting fucking like little divas. It's like if you have nothing better to do than sit up here and talk and complain about the same goddamn shit all fucking day, then whatever. And I'm talking about every fucking buddy that's fucking around. You know what I mean? They all fucking do it. They all talk about the same fucking shit. They just go around in a fucking circle, 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 and fucking it always winds up back to fucking drama. You know what I mean? Oh shit, what the fuck's that? I don't know if you guys can see this, but look over there. I can't zoom in, but over in that point, there's something over there fucking splashing around. I don't know what the hell it is. Because there's no. Oh, yeah, now it's not going to fucking do it, whatever the hell it is. Huh. You're watching. I'm going to put the camera back where I had it the first fucking time, and motherfuckers are going to start splashing wherever the fuck it is again. Because as you can tell, there ain't no waves, there ain't no boats come up through, send no wakes. Fuck was that? Almost kind of looked like. Oh, it's a seal, maybe. Maybe it's a seal. I see something floating around right there. Coming up through. Almost looks like a seal's head. I can see it. Now it's underneath the water now, whatever the fuck it is. Find out, because if it's a shark, them ducks are cool. No, it ain't no goddamn whale, Dagmar. We don't have whales this far inshore. 25, 30 miles offshore, maybe. But not this close to shore. Not in this area. Yeah, no whales this far inshore. We just had that debate when NOAA, the North, North Atlantic, Oceanic, Atmosphere, whatever, Administration, whatever the fuck it is. I'd say it was probably a seal, if I had to guess. But it's weird because I don't know. I've never seen him splash like quite like that. Huh. Yeah, Loch Ness. The Loch Ness of Down East Maine. Look at all the birds, though. Can you guys see all the birds? Well, probably not. I think the camera's too far away to see it all, but all kinds of birds. Ducks and sea ducks and shit. Anyways, yeah, back to what I was saying. Yeah, everybody fucking people nowadays have just fucking turned into soft motherfuckers. Like, I try to stay pretty fucking neutral and shit because I really don't give a fuck about what anybody says. But you know, yeah, it is. It's a fucking beautiful view. I love it. Uh, it's like I just have a hobby, play a sport, play an instrument. Like, is music even a thing in school nowadays? You know, like, do they even teach fucking shit into schools anymore? Music and all that. Like, is it a lost art? Hold on, y'all. I just get a message I gotta look. So if it goes black, I haven't gotten nowhere. Music, Miss P. Music in school and the art programs and shit like that. Like, is that a thing still in schools? Or have they, because around here, it seems like they struggle to keep it up, because I don't think they really have a music program in the schools around here. So I was just kind of curious if other school districts in other parts of the country had that in a younger stage, not high school, but like in the younger grades. Oh yeah, and a seal, or a whale, or a shark, or tuna, whatever, a halibut. Use your imagination, whatever you want it to be. A killer whale, a killer lobster, a giant lobster, y'all. Oh fuck. Oh, the fish. That's what it is. It's fucking the pogies. Or the heron, whatever it is. They're jumping out of the water. And that's why the birds. Aha. That's what it is. We got to the bottom of it, folks. I feel like more people need to take an interest in that stuff. You know? Like people shouldn't be afraid. See, we always had the option from what was it? Is it fifth grade on? Fifth grade on. I think you had the option to do band. Like, you could start to learn how to play like the flute or the basic shit, the drums, violin, clarinet, like all that type shit. But you had to pay for it. So it was one of them things where it was off it, but you had to pay for it. And it was fucking outrageous because you had to like either buy the equipment or you had to rent it, and it was nonsense, especially back then. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's not enough activities for the younger generation to get interested in, and everything's influenced by TikTok, i.e., China, uh, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, whatever the fuck people use nowadays. Back in the day, it was fucking MySpace, yo. You remember that? MySpace? That was the place to be, MySpace. Do your custom layouts, your page. You can't do that shit no more. That was pretty good platform, really. The way you could show who you were through the backgrounds and shit. Y'all remember that? Like they don't want to give they don't want to give opportunities to students, and it is true that certain things in life or stereotype towards a certain culture, a certain race and shit, like it's just one of them things where they're really making society dumber because you don't have well-rounded individuals that can do shit and do multiple things. It's kind of a a one horse show and pony, you know? I just fucked that saying up too, by the way. Someone probably clipped that and be like, oh, this guy's. Anyways, a one horse and pony show. There we go. Yeah, but I mean, that's still a musical form. It's still a way to express yourself. And ultimately, that's what music is. It's self-expression. You know what I mean? Because really, a musician plays based on the way they feel and all that, and on passion and shit. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you see that influence in everything. It was like rock and rap, and then that country and rap, and all this shit. Now everything's all intermingled anyway. So I mean, it's a good outlet. Me, I've been digging violin music lately. I mean, you get a good violinist that knows what they're doing and can fucking really has that drive to do. I mean, the covers of the songs, man, I've listened to is fucking unreal. Absolutely, positively unreal. Sorry, y'all. My kid is fighting with her mother. She's trying to convince her mother that she's going to stay at a friend's house and then go to another friend's house. And it's like, no, you're coming home tonight, like we discussed. We're going to buy you school clothes tomorrow. Oh, it is. There is a seal. Fuck, I missed it again. What the fuck? See, fuck's this shit. Let's see. Roll in the Oh wait, who's in the back? Oh, Miss B's in the background.
Hey,
Hello, Miss B.
how you doing this fine morning?
Doing good. Doing good.
Good. So yeah, I just wanted to come up and follow up a little bit of what I was trying to say in the chat without putting a billion paragraphs. So one of the things we did when my daughter was very young, was do like art. She loves art, and that was something that was very affordable. And we also made sure to. She needed to put in a visible, consistent effort before we're going to spend any crazy money on an instrument. Um, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I know a girl. She got like a $6,000 saxophone, and she's like 3 months later, she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Um, and it's so we were just like, you really need to, make a consistent effort that this is something that you want to do before we're going to spend any real type of money to do it. And I thought that was fair. That was a fair middle ground. And then the art, and right now, like, I wish I was. Oops, sorry. Um, I thought that was a fair middle ground.
Yeah. Like with my kid, like I said, she's a hell of an artist, and I encourage it, but it's like, man, at the same time, I try to get her out of the house to do something else too, because not
Yes,
she'll
to
just
be
sit
active.
upstairs and just draw and doodle, and yeah,
Oh
that's
my,
good to do in the evenings and downtime, but you also have to do something, have a life.
yeah,
Like she has
physical.
friends, she
Hmm.
has friends that she talks to all day. I go, why don't you see? Because her sister is sitting, afraid to ask to go to a friend's house. I go, why don't you try to go to a friend's house? Why don't you try to go there for a night or two? No, I don't want to. Well, she'll go over and like 2, 3 hours later, she'll call. Can you come get me?
That's hilarious. I was literally the complete opposite. I wanted to sleep over every weekend, every school night.
Yeah, that's how
Begged
my one kid
when I had to
is.
call my mom for the check in. I was like, please, please, just let me stay, please. But yeah, even with a lot like really limited supplies, like especially if you do like especially if you do the due diligence to like learn it yourself and inspire them and teach them how to um, do it. They like my daughter can create amazing things. I wish I had an ability to pull it up from the iPhone, but I mean, like, I'm talking amazing stuff, and not just like, oh, I'm a proud parent and everything they do is amazing, because I always see that, and then they show me their kids' work and it looks like a doodle, and I'm like, oh my freaking gosh. But like legitimate talent, and this is from like 13, 14, and on. And this is just with like regular pencil, regular pen work, um, regular stuff. What we taught her, like shading, lighting, edges, different types of cross hatching, dotting, just like different how to do different things in art. And she took that and she put laborious amounts of time in, and she really blossomed into it. So yeah, I definitely think there are some things you can do that that are a little bit cheaper but still allow them to take part in the arts. I think we lost Leggy, of course. Nope.
No, I was here, but my kids
Oh, you were?
arguing
I
with.
didn't know. I saw you went dark.
No. I was here. I was listening. Just my kids arguing with their mother about, well, now me, about trying to stay at a friend's house. So it's kind of like,
Oh,
it's kind of
oh,
like, no. And then she just dropped well, I never get to have any fun. It's like, kid, you've been gone legit half the fucking summer. Like she just got home a week, well, 2 weeks ago now, from fucking 2 weeks in West Virginia. She went to fucking Washington D.C., Hershey Park, that National Scout Jamboree, where there was like fucking 60,000 kids from all over the world there. Like, you know
two
what I mean?
weeks. Really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
then, I mean, she went to Hershey Park and she raised a bunch of money doing fundraisers and bottle drives and shit like that. But she also fucking
Oh, that's all great stuff.
but then I also gave her like fucking $500 to take with her.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no. She doesn't have no fun. See the seal? Can you guys
Oh,
see
there's
that?
no amount of fun that's enough.
He went under.
And the fun doesn't always have to. That's what I was trying to talk about, like being creative in your own aspect, in your own, mind spaces. That it doesn't always have to be a friggin' a water park, a music show, or this or that. This is gonna sound corny and really sciency, but one of the things, like when my daughter especially was young, she loved to do was like, this is gonna sound corny, but like she liked to like observe bugs outside and like observe their habits. Take our binoculars, check out the sky. She still loves planets and stuff to this day, with the telescope. Just like things like that. You'd go out there and she'd be staring at ants making milking aphids and be like, "Look at how amazing this is!" And she just interested her so much. Or checking out different plants, and of course, bringing them home. I never seen this. Show me what this is. Can we figure out what that is? Um, so it doesn't always have to be that's what I was saying. I think a lot of things, like at least from our generation, and definitely before, like kids were had to be a little more creative because funds were really low for a lot of people, and money wasn't afforded to kids. Even if parents had money, it wasn't for extracurricular fun stuff.
No. If
Yeah,
I wanted to do anything, I had to fucking go to work myself.
yeah.
Like I remember, it wasn't
Or
until
at least earn it. Like my parents would be like, "Oh, you want $5? You have to wash and wax the whole
yeah.
car
I
for
mean, they did
five
that.
freaking
Yeah,
dollars." It's like
yeah.
you have to mow the whole yard and you get $5.
Although the
Obviously, it's
same
not the
sense
same
is
quite
that could be
financially.
that's also a bad thing because then you teach a kid, well, you can't do anything unless you give him money either. Because like my parents did that with my brother. Never because there's like 9 years between me and him.
Hmm.
And him, they would go, well, I'll give you X amount of dollars to do this, or I'll give you X amount of dollars to do this. Now you ask him to do something, he's like, no, I ain't gonna do it unless I get. Or how much money am I making? Like, you know what I
Ah,
mean? On
yes.
them type people now. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like me, I'm
Yeah,
the
it's
whole
only
opposite
it's
way.
only supposed to meant to be like a little bit of an incentive, not a
Yeah,
full. Yeah. So
like my
there's
dad
like
used to
regular
pay.
chores that are supposed to be done.
Well,
Um,
my dad used to pay him to stay the fuck home and watch like the dogs and make sure the dogs. Me, when I was a kid, like 10, 11, 12, I used to go out clamming with my dad, worming with my dad. Like I
oh,
was
that's
on the
so
mud flats.
fun.
Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? My brother, I think maybe in his life, maybe he's done 20 tides his whole entire life. And I think he's fell flat on his face every time. So, which is hilarious.
Well, could be. Each child is different. Each one of us are different, and you can have 10 children and raise them all exactly the different ways, and some kids are gonna feel driven and they're gonna feel excitement by that, and other kids aren't. They're gonna be bored out of their mind. I had an older brother, and he wasn't a physical type. He just wasn't. He didn't want to do anything physical at all. Whoops. I think
No, that was
am
me.
I, is that me,
That was
robot?
me. No, that was me.
Okay, but yeah, he didn't want to do anything physical. If you asked him to go clamming or play tag or just anything that included any kind of physical activity at all, is no, 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 immediately no. And I was the opposite for me. I was like, heck yeah, I want to freaking climb trees and go clamming and blah blah blah. I loved that stuff, but it never came from within for him.
Yeah. I
So
just it's hilarious. I
my
just I
daughter's
don't
kind of
get
like
it.
that. She's not so much in the physical. Like she doesn't like exercise. But I can incentivize her to do it. But she'll never
Yeah.
do it for fun the way I would do it for fun.
Yeah.
it's another thing I think about the you were saying talking about the school system is that like there's very much like one layout, like the mold is all one way, and not all people learn the same way. A lot of times male and females don't learn in the same way, and person to person they live they work they learn kind of differently. They're inspired or like by
Yeah.
different things
You know, it's
motivate
funny you
them.
say that. It's like my daughter, she's only, well, she just turned 3. And it's the way like she interacts and like she carries the baby around. And like now she's packing like she has this like little purse that she puts like her fake bottle of hand lotion in. And she put some crayon in there. And what else she put in there? Oh,
That's adorable.
like a fake credit card type deal. I'm
Yep.
just like, she's just watching this shit and learning from us, I guess, because like it's just the way. And like she's carrying, but like my wife doesn't really carry around a purse. Like she has a bag, but she doesn't carry it around everywhere and shit. Like half the time, she just kind of like throws it here or there, and oh shit, where's my bag? You
Yeah,
know,
that's how I am. That's how I am
like,
so guilty.
but like. It's just the learning shit. It's just funny.
Yeah,
How
no, I remember when I was a kid, like, especially and watching like very young kids, like there were some little girls that man, they just loved dolls. They loved pretending to be the mom. Um, they loved like fake feeding babies or helping to participate to raise other babies. And then like other little girls, just not at all. Like they were not interested at all in doing that. Even actually, I was at the last time I was at the grocery store. I walked by what had to been, I'd say, around a 4-year-old girl, and she was holding on to the carriage, and she was there with her father. And I walked past them, and I overheard the little girl say, "Okay, I'm gonna be the mom this time." Okay, it was just my freaking heart melted. I was like, you know. Because I don't see feel like I see that as much as I used to you know, affinity for motherhood the way I used to see more often when I was a child. And she's so young, and you can just see it's so naturally in her to want to nurture and to be a mother, and so that just warmed my heart. Thanks for letting me know the family was in the way, or in the car too, not in the way, or like I don't want to say anything that I shouldn't say.
what? What are you talking about? Shouldn't say
I
what?
said, well, thanks for letting me know that they were the family was close by too, just in case I decided to say something I shouldn't say in front of youngins.
I don't say there ain't nobody here, just me and my dog.
Oh, now, gotcha.
I haven't been down here for a while, so I'm just down here smoking a joint and
Nice.
watching the fucking boats haul. And now it's raining, so
Yeah, we got quite a bit of rain last night. It's still a little cloudy, but I don't think it's wet. I don't think so. Well, looks like it's starting to dry up a little bit.
I don't think this is gonna last super long. I mean, it's not a heavy downpour; it's a steady
Yeah,
rain. But
it looks like in the distance you can see a little bit of clearing in the
yeah,
clouds.
but I think the storm's moving that way though. That's to
Oh,
the
okay.
west though. So
It's
going that well,
difficult
no,
to
wait,
tell.
no, that way's east, like east-ish, going that way, like southeast, I guess.
Okay.
Right?
Man,
Yeah.
they let you drive right up on the beach like that?
Yeah, this is a working beach.
Oh. Well, man, I don't think I've ever seen any beaches allowed to be driven
Yeah.
on over here. Not in 25 years or more.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is a working beach. Actually,
Cool.
this technically it's privately owned, anyways. This whole
Ah, okay.
so
Even
like
better.
the family. I mean, nobody stays at these little camps anymore. That's because all this is a fucking sandbar that sticks the fuck out, like in between. Like this is an island to the left, and then it goes shoots up like into the river, into like a into like a river type deal, and then it shoots around, goes back up another river. So like yeah, and then you go out. That's an island out across there.
It
Uh,
makes sense. Then you got a lot of shoreline to
there's an
shoreline to
island.
work with.
That's an island right there, straight ahead. So like this point sticks out right here, and it
You know
doesn't.
what's another thing I haven't seen on beaches since I was like very small? Well, there's two things actually now that I'm thinking about it is fires. When I was young, I used to see people having bonfires on the beach late at night.
Yeah, you don't see that a lot no more.
Okay, and the second thing I used to see all the time is horseshoe crabs. When I went to the beach, there would be you would come across at least a dozen horseshoe crabs, and
You see him down southern Maine, I think, but I'm not. You don't get him up
now
this way, I don't think.
now you don't. You might find a dead one once in a while wash up on the shore once in a blue moon, but every time you went to the beach, there would be at least a dozen horseshoe crabs
Yeah,
walking
yeah,
around.
I remember that. I remember being a kid living in Maryland. We used to go to Ocean City, and they'd be everywhere down there.
They'd be everywhere. They're not like that anymore. They're just completely like it's like they don't even exist. It's sad.
Right?
But these was like I was saying, like
I think New
what
Jersey, is it New Jersey that has like a breeding ground that's protected or something like that for them? I think it's
I
New
don't know.
Jersey.
I honestly think like there should be at least like 50 miles or more in every freaking state of freaking protected
Maybe
land.
there's a spot here in Maine. I'm thinking of.
I
There
mean,
could be a
because
spot
it's
here in Maine.
they're an endangered species, and like first of all, they're being harvested. Because I don't know. Do you know about the blue blood thing?
What, them having the blue blood?
Yeah, so they have this like really amazing blue blood, and it's used to make crazy like a ton of different crazy expensive medications in the world.
Yeah.
And they have fields and fields like it's like a factory essentially where they just hook them all up and drain them little at a time uh, until they die. It's like really sad, and it's really sad to see what has become of the horseshoe crab ordeal, especially because they're just like freaking they're like dinosaurs. They're like older than dinosaurs if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they're just
Yeah.
they've
They've
been
been
around
around a
forever.
long, long
Yeah.
time.
The tidal pools, I also used to love that when I was a kid, and
Oh,
my
yeah.
daughter
Tidal
loved
pool.
that. The tidal pools, oh man, you just have a good old time like that.
There's a spot, the Cape Shore on the backside of Beals Island. Uh, that had, that's high cliff, like tide. So like when it tide drops, it drops quite far because it comes down over the ledges and then it has to come back up over.
Yep.
Anyways, there's fucking tidal pools all through there. Some of them are deep, some of them are only a couple feet deep, you know. But tell you what, that water's warm. I've yet to
Yes,
take
it's
the
like
kids
pee
down there
warm. I know
because
exactly what you mean.
it's one of them spots that you have to make sure it's a really good day to get in there, and then even then you still got the roll of the sea that comes in through that little gut that you have to go up into. So it's like that, or you got to, or it's like a 2 hour walk through the damn woods, or
Oh
hour and a
my
half
gosh.
walk through
Yeah,
the
no,
woods.
that sounds pretty rough. That
Yeah.
sounds rough.
So it's like, nah, I'm okay taking the family down to it. Like I've gone down there and gone to
Yeah, the
work
ones
and
I went to were
dug down
much easier to get to
there.
than like you're describing.
I remember first I got a little 14-foot aluminum boat I had to go like worming and clamming with and shit.
Mhm.
I remember the first day I got it and got a motor on it, and I only bought a small 9.9 for it because I don't need no power. I just need something to get up through the fucking river
Just
and
a
shit.
yeah.
And we took it to the Cape Shore. I'm like, holy fuck! Here it comes, raining, kind of like today. Wind,
Yeah.
man. That
You started getting knocked around.
yeah, and that little tin can, man, I was like, holy shit. I'm glad I had my old captain. He I was like, you can run it out because I come into it, but
Mm,
he I was like, you can bring it out through that shithole because it's like you got to go in through like the point. There's like a point, and then you got like a rock, like bluff, cliff, whatever in the fucking middle. So like you got this little channel you gotta go through, and you got tide coming from like all sides. So it's a fucking shithole, especially if
yeah,
it's windy.
coming in. Yeah,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, that was fun. That was fun. We were like drenched rats at the end of it.
yeah. The most like I think like well at least that I remember experiencing with Mr. P was we went out pretty far like way too well let's just say way too far in the kayaks and and it started storming and it came in really quickly and the waves started picking up and but worse yet was the current started pulling out really hard and I was literally like almost in tears and I'm like a freaking amazing rower. I'm like I don't want to get myself too much of a pat on the back but like amazing. I got that Viking blood. Like rowing comes natural to me. I love it and I can row the shit out of a boat. um, and even in that moment, both of us were like going further and further and further and further away from the land, no matter how much we were paddling. And it was that was kind of scary, and it was getting dark at the same time because obviously, well, it was late in the afternoon. Then the storm came over, which means we lost we were supposed to have an hour's worth of light left, which we're clearly not getting an hour's worth of light left. So it started getting dark, raining. The freaking water pulling out, and it was just it was really a shit show for us too.
Le
Um,
Puppy, salute.
Never again will I ever go that far out from shore.
Yeah, I mean,
Not on a kayak. No way.
well, yeah, yeah, that's quite dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck how good of a life jacket you got, or how good of a canoe you have,
Oh
or
my
think
gosh,
you
I don't even take a life jacket.
Yeah, see,
I don't even
see.
take a life jacket. I mean, Mr. P is like you know, a, a competition swimmer, but what is that going to help with me?
Well, see,
He's not going to competition swim
y'all are the
against a
people that's
current
gonna
with
be
me on
out
his
to
back.
sea. You're gonna be the people out to sea that's out there. Hey, let me sightsee this island and get caught in a fucking chop and rolled
Yeah.
over, and you ain't gonna be able to make it to fucking land. It just happened here a couple weeks ago. Fucking, you had some out of state kayakers here kayaking, thinking they were badasses, and unfortunately, apparently, they fucking didn't make it.
Oh wow, so they didn't make it
So,
at
I
all.
mean,
I
it
figured,
happens.
oh
It
well,
seems
maybe
like
they ended up on
every few
land. They had to
years
stay
it
there for
seems
2
to
or 3
happen.
days before they were found. But no, worst case scenario. That's sad.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't
I
even
mean, it is what it
suggest that
is.
to
I
somebody
mean,
who wasn't like
and
a
we had that
very,
young kid.
uh, very good kayaker that's like well knows water well, has done rapids, has done like has done some pushy things before. And like I said, when we went out, it was pretty clear. It was nice and smooth, and this just really came in quickly and wasn't good. Especially because I think we had a third person that we went out with that was like drinking a lot. They were like, "Come on, let's go further, and let's go further," and we went out further than we ever would feel comfortable on our own.
LaPuffy, you just need a good boat. You get a good boat, you're golden. Other than that, don't get in no ocean.
Yes, yeah, I definitely suggest a boat, a good boat, in a large size boat too,
Or
because
or or don't get in no fresh water in Florida. Don't do that either.
it
You
says,
might
yeah,
get
I
ate
heard they
by
man, they
a
have
gator in
anacondas
Florida.
down in Florida. I was like,
Fuck that
holy
shit,
crap,
man.
I didn't know that.
Fuck that shit, man. No water for me unless there's a fucking pool, and then even then you better check and make sure there ain't nothing in that fucking pool.
No, that's why I love being in New England because the only thing we really have to worry about, I guess, is like huge water moccasins, and even then they don't bite underwater. So what? There's really no
I
There's
mean, I
no.
don't think we don't have water moccasins. Well, I don't
I'm
know of any
pretty sure you
poisonous
guys
snake.
do. If we have them, you probably have them.
I don't know. I don't think we do because I don't think Maine has any poisonous snakes.
No, it's not a it's not a poisonous snake. It's just a very large snake.
I mean, I know we have
It's
like,
definitely
well,
the biggest snake we have.
we got
And
like
it's
garden snakes and shit like that.
Yep, we have the garden snakes, and you wouldn't normally see a water moccasin unless you're in the water. But I would imagine you'd have to. But I remember one time I had my foot in the just I was resting in like a big boulder, and like it also like went into the water and like in the most perfect vertical, so that you can kind of like beach out on it and have half your water in the half your body in the water and half of it out easily. um, and one just like slithered, and this thing had to have been 5 foot. Slithered right over my legs, and I mean, it's big around at least as a can. And I was like freaking, I mean, I know they don't open their mouths or whatever underwater, so I'm not worried about it. But I definitely got chicken skin all over me in that moment. That's the closest I've ever been to one, though. And that was just a tiny water reservoir too. That wasn't even like a river or any big body of water.
I
I would
don't know.
just
I've never. I mean, I know I've seen snakes in like the water and shit, but I don't think they're called moccasins. So I think we call them
Are
chuck.
they black?
No, they're like
Hmm.
brown. I mean, I don't know. I've never really seen. I'm not saying it's not, but I've just never really seen any snakes like that. Like Maine's
No,
not
like I
known
said, in
for.
my entire
Maine's not
almost
really a
40
state
years,
that
that was the
thinks
only one
snake.
time I ever come across that.
We
So there's
have
really easy for someone to not ever come across one.
we have some big like wolf spiders and shit like that. Them fucking things are fucking gnarly, man.
I'm glad we don't have the poisonous snakes and freaking spiders and all that kind of crap.
The only time you really have them is if, like, I know Hannaford a few years ago, well, it was quite a few years ago now. I remember they had a shipment of bananas come in that they wind up, uh, there was an infestation of black widows, and
Really?
they put out a thing saying be cautious and all that because the bananas you have may contain one. So like they got rid of them all, but it was until because it was like the nest of it was like in the middle of the fucking like you know what I mean, middle of the fucking pile of bananas, the bin of
Okay,
bananas.
so I'm looking it up real quick. They call them, I guess, Eastern ribbon snakes is another word for them, and yeah, definitely they are throughout fresh bodies of water in Maine. You've just not seen one.
Yeah, see, yeah, see. So it's like what I'm saying. We're not really known for them. And if you come across a snake, you're just gonna be like, oh, 9 times out of 10, you're just gonna say, oh, hey, it's a garden snake.
Yeah, it's the tiniest garden snake. Yeah, that's what you usually have to. And yeah, I guess you could call them brown, black. Um, but yeah.
Fuck that shit though. Like I said, Florida, Louisiana, all that shit. Fuck that. I ain't getting no fucking fresh water down
Oh,
there.
it looks like they
Yeah,
go all the
I
way
get
up
into the
to
water like
South
right here
Quebec.
because like this is a sand beach, like whatever. And like I'm not saying it's not possible for something to be up here that could bite you, but chances are very, very slim, especially on this side of the bar. So like I do fuck around here in the summertime sometimes with the kids, but there's other places, fuck that shit. No ocean for me. There's too many fucking crabs and lobsters and urchins and all that shit, man.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Get a fucking urchin thorn in you. Them fucking things hurt.
Yeah.
And I swear, man, surgical needles, man. They looked at a motherfucking fish and from the ocean, and they went, yes, this is how we will design the surgical needle. Cause them fucking things, man, will pierce you like redfish, man. We bait on redfish, and them motherfuckers have spines, And if you're not careful and you grab it wrong, like if you're grabbing them quick and not paying attention, them fucking things will stab you right to your fucking bone.
Oof.
My damn thumb, my thumb and my middle fingers, them two fingers on each hand, especially my right one, man, you look and it's like little fuck. You can see where I've been jabbed so much. Especially when I take a shower and get out, and the fucking the skin's kind of soggy. You can
Yep.
see it's like what the fuck, man. They're always tender.
You don't ever, yes, because you have the nerve damage. Obviously I cook a lot, so I've got a couple really deep cuts from cooking. Trying to like peel really hard vegetables that you need to really like oomph it down with all your might with a chef knife, and if you slip ever so slightly, you're just and I took all the way down to the bone on my the tip of my thumb, and this was like 20 years ago, and it's still the nerves. Anytime I put pressure on it, you can feel it's like a little buzz. It's like bzzz, and
Yeah,
it's painful.
yeah. I get a few cuts on my hand, like my left hand, like on my thumb, like down below, like to the palm there. Well, here I'll show you in the camera. Fucking see that fucking scar?
Oh yeah, that's a big boy.
I
That's a
sliced
big
that.
scar.
I was right down to the fucking tendon, dude. That was fucking like when I flayed that back, the tendon. I could see like the silver shiny shit. I was like, "What the fuck is
Yep,
that?"
yep.
And then the thumb on it,
On the tip, yeah. So
the
that's where
tip,
I have it. The tip
fucking,
damage.
and then this fucking finger, and then I've got this one fucking down to the bone.
Man, it is. Do you wear a little bit more of like protective like gloves now when you try doing your working?
I mean, I wear the orange gloves, whatever, the Atlas orange gloves, but they still, I mean, they only protect so much. You said them damn fucking thorns, man. They uh they go through quite easily.
Sure.
Like you could pierce a body part with it, no problem. Like there's no question about it. You could any body part you could think of, you could put it that right through, just fucking slick like a butter knife going through butter. You know what I mean? It would
I've
just
seen
go.
those rockfish. Man, those things are
Well,
scary
that's
too.
what a redfish is. A redfish is essentially a
Oh, a
rockfish.
rockfish is a redfish.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's the same fucking idea. Same fucking idea. The fucking spines on them, like a rockfish is kind of like brownish redfish.
But does it shoot like any kind of venom in there too?
Well, like if like I know I've got hit by a live one, and I know like your fingers and shit will pulsate, and if it's deep enough for whatever, it'll swell up. Like I've had like,
Oh man, I've heard
well,
of
the
people
reason I
stepping on them and losing
wear a
like the whole bottom of
silicone
their foot.
rubber, the reason I wear a silicone ring is because my actual ring, we had to cut it off one day on the boat because I got stabbed by a redfish underneath of it,
Mm.
and it swelled up, and fucking it was cutting the circulation off. So the captain took a fucking hacksaw, and he very gently went over and cut the fucking thing off.
There you go. Yeah, no, I agree with
Yeah.
that. That always made me nervous. And Mr. P used to wear a titanium ring, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, this is so freaking dangerous.
Well, it's like with me, the least if I get my finger caught in like the hull or something like that,
Yes, it'll
it's
just break off.
it
Yeah,
should break off. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
it's still gonna fuck up. I'm still gonna fuck up my finger, but at least I know it's not gonna catch
It's a
that and cut it the
yeah.
fuck off.
You're gonna get degloved if everybody knows what that means.
Yeah,
At
exactly. I'm gonna
minimum.
get gloved versus catching my actual finger. Like I'm probably gonna cut the tip or something off versus down at the fucking stub.
Yeah, I seen some pretty horror pictures of gentlemen that they didn't want to take their ring off, and which
There
is
was a guy.
honorable, but
There was an old guy a couple years ago. He got his thumb caught in the holler. He cut his thumb off from the first knuckle up or whatever. Right.
mm-hmm.
He he saved that damn thumb in his cooler. He had an ice pack. He put it on his ice pack. He wrapped his hand in a shirt, put some duct tape around it, put his glove back on, finished hauling the day, right?
No.
Come back in, went to the hospital, they sewed the fuck back on.
Oh, he's very lucky, and he must have also packed it very well, because a lot of people, they think, oh, you just put your finger or whatever part on ice and you're good to go, but it's a little more complicated than that. It's a little more complicated than just throwing.
I mean, it's a story, so who knows if that's
No,
actually what happened? But you
yeah,
don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
he might have done that, but I'm just saying, if he did, he would have had to have packed it very well. Like, you put a wet paper towel around the digit, then you're going
I
to
think
yeah, you put it like in a bag, and then you put it in like an air, like, basically, so that there's air surrounding around it, because you don't ever want the ice to actually touch the organ, or it will immediately start dying on contact, because it's like freezer burn. You're getting frostbite onto the finger, because there's no circulation of blood into it anymore, and you can just in that short amount of time, you could kill off the finger, and it can never be put back on.
yeah, yeah. I think the story's more like he did it. He finished hauling the couple pairs left in the string, and then he fucking left. Is what I think actually
That
happened.
sounds probably, yeah, more
He
realistic.
didn't finish no day out. Maybe. I mean, there is some tough old birds out there, man. The old timers, man.
Oh my
Especially
gosh.
around here. There's a man. He's 70. Oh, no,
I remember my
75,
yeah, go ahead.
and he can dig more worms than me in a fucking tide. Like, you know what I
Well, he
mean?
probably also knows all the tricks.
Yeah, that's true. He's been doing it fucking longer than I've been alive. But
Yeah. My grandpa, I remember when I was little, he had a huge, nasty, like, oh my gosh, it was like all rusty too. And it was jammed up into his thumb, and all the way, not just up the thumb bed, the nail bed, it was all the way to the knuckle. And he just wrapped it. Oh my gosh, he just wrapped it. And he was like, it's fine, leave it alone. And like, all of the women and the whole family had to keep bullying him for days and days and days. And he just kept working with that big nail sticking out of his finger. And he was like that kind of guy. He was like that kind of guy, like, where you can have a nail through your thumb and you just like wrap it with some duct tape and be like, it's fine, leave it alone, it'll be
that's
fine.
that's pretty much me. Like,
Oh my
I just
god.
if I don't
He's
have a
lucky to
band-aid
lose
or
his whole finger.
something, I'll wrap in whatever I can find. Like when I cut my fucking palm there, like I I cut it and I grabbed it, and my friend's uncle, he was coming downstairs. He goes, "You didn't," and I showed him. He goes, "You did." I go, "Nope, I didn't do a fucking thing. Like I just wanted to wrap it up and fucking
Yeah,
whatever. You know what I mean?" And he's
I
like, "No,
know.
you got to go to the fucking doctor for that."
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've had definitely some big wounds, and I just shoved some super glue in there, squished it together. And that's just it's just how it ended.
I wish I could find. I wish I could find the pictures of what it looked like when it was fucking filleted open. That's pretty interesting.
Oh my
What
god,
your
just by
tendons
looking
and
at the
muscles
scar,
and
you
shit
can
look
tell
like.
it was really deep.
Oh yeah, I mean, like that whole flap was peeled right fucking back. Like it went from like here all the way around, and I could peel it
Oh,
back and
so
touch.
yeah, it was like almost a
Yeah.
full degloving.
Well, no, I wasn't even on the boat when that happened. I was cutting the fucking. I
No,
was
I mean,
using
like,
a razor
deglove
blade
is the
cutting.
term that you use when the skin starts peeling off.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh, yeah. That was quite a nasty
Was that the
cut.
worst pain you ever felt in your life, or what?
You know, it was a razor blade, so like
Oh, okay.
it went through pretty clean, tell you the truth. Like it was kind of like oh shit. Like when it happened, like it
Yeah,
hurt, but
that's
it
how it
wasn't.
happened with the chef knife. It actually took me a moment or so to even realize what had happened,
Yeah,
because yeah.
exactly. Because it said my first instinct was, oh shit, I nicked myself. And I did. I mean, I kind of jumped up off the ground when it happened, and I grasped my palm like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I seen the fucking blood dripping all over. And the thing about it is, my friend, they were fucking building his dad was upstairs, and uncle and shit said come downstairs, but they were upstairs and they were just building this house. Like this garage floor was only probably a year old. Like, cause they put, they do the garage and basement first.
Yeah.
I was the first one to get blood all over the floor.
Oh,
Oh man, they weren't even, the house wasn't even done yet. They just got the upstairs all framed out.
man.
Oh man, yeah, but
That's another reason, like, yeah, just
it
drinking on
aches
the job,
now.
man. It's just
So
not worth it.
the older I get, because I was what 21, and I'm 35 now, so that's 14 years ago, and it aches now, especially because everything I do, I use my hands, like from
Yes.
grabbing traps, like you know what I mean. Your hands are in through the mesh, so just imagine grabbing fucking heavy ass traps through the mesh all day, like just the
Especially
cramps in your
the
fingers.
cold metal too.
Yeah, and then in the wintertime, the coldness, that stiffness, digging clams, worms, grabbing that cold hand. Like worms, I dig worms barehanded. I dig clams barehanded, you know, or with really thin gloves, just enough
Yeah.
to kind of give you a little bit of protection.
Hmm.
But tell you what, a clam, man, come down the wrong, if you're pulling clams in soft mud, and you come down the wrong side of a clam and see what fucking happens to your finger.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like you were talking about stepping on a sea urchin and stuff, and I've cut my feet tons of times just on sharp rocks, just on like you said, shells and stuff, because my feet, they were getting softened. They were getting like pruny, and
Yeah,
just having a little bit of pruning on the bottom of my feet, walking on jumping from rock to rock pile to rock pile, and cut the whole bottom of my foot open. So it doesn't, you don't even need to step on any crazy animal to get injured in on the ocean. It's no joke. I freaking give a lot of credit to the people who went who were longtime fishermen and boat captains, and or did pioneering. That's shit, man. Can't even imagine.
right.
Those people were cut from a different cloth.
Way different cloth. Like, it's just crazy the lifestyle. Going down to Gloucester this spring, it was like such a different culture down there. Like such a similar lifestyle, like the way what people do and the way of life, but yet it's such a different culture compared to like Maine. It's so weird. Like, yeah, we're New Englanders, so we got that in common and shit. But like, even the way they fish lobsters down that way is different. It's nuts.
Well, maybe you need to use slightly different techniques for different areas. I don't know.
Who knows? I just think it's everybody has their own ways of doing shit, like families and shit. Like the people I work for now, everybody in that family does everything the same fucking way. You know what I mean? Like so you can go from any one of the boats, like in the family and fill in or whatever, and you know exactly what's going on. Like, you know what I mean? It might be a little bit different setup as far as where things are, but as far as the flow of work, it's all the same. Like the way you tie everything on and the way you stack traps and all that shit. Really, the only thing that's different is the way where you band and bait your lobster bags, your bait
Hmm.
bag. Other than that, I mean, there's no difference. But then you go to another person like the captain I worked for the past 3 years. When I went to work for him, he would look at me. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" He goes, "Who taught you to do this shit?" Which is the same family that I'm doing it for now, working for now. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's just funny. So now, like, I'm back with them, and I got to learn how to do everything the way they did it. Well, not learn, but get back into the habit of doing everything the way they do it. So Now I just fucking tie everything the way I fucking know how to, and if they don't like it, I say, "Well, are you gonna lose the fucking trap? If you do, I'll pay for it." You know,
Yeah.
which it never happens, thank God, because I can't afford to pay for no fucking trap if I lose it. I don't want to lose half my pay.
No, of course. You know, it's fishermen to fishermen. They all have like little tricks they swear by.
Oh yeah, everybody has their own way of doing shit. It's just the way people bait. Like there's some people that use nothing but pig hide, and I'm like, well, how the fuck do you ever catch anything? Because yeah, they eat pig hide, but it doesn't really lure them in there. It's kind of one of them things that once they're there, it kind of keeps them there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I mean, same sense is when there's lobsters going and then motherfuckers are hungry, it doesn't matter what's in the trap, they're gonna go into it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So they trap when they want to trap, ultimately. And it's funny too, because depending on where you are in Maine, like southern Maine, they don't really catch the lobsters like we do up here. Like, I guess Rockland's like the number one
Well, I would imagine you'd
place
probably
in
have a little
Maine.
less population, probably a little more colder waters.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
I do think you get a better run of lobsters in the colder water, because I mean,
definitely.
the warmer water you get a lot of shell rot and shit. And I guess down that way, from what I understand, they do have that issue. So
And so you guys got to like pull back. You guys got to like put back and clip all the like pregnant females or like females and stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
Anything
I,
with eggs on it,
yeah,
you're supposed to put a V notch in them. If it has a V notch in it already, even if it doesn't have eggs, if it's a female, only if it's a female.
yeah.
For some odd reason, you find males that are punched, and it's like, and it's clearly like somebody's clearly punched it, and it's like, it's a male. Why did you punch this fucking lobster?
Maybe they just it
Well,
just
I
had a
think it's
little
one
bit
of them
wider
things that,
tail than a normal male, and they weren't sure. So
well,
better safe than sorry.
well, no, you can clearly tell the difference between a male and a female.
Really, I always thought that it was like the tail was like a little bit
No, it has
wider.
nothing to do with the tail. It's up close. They have their sex organs. Like males are always big and fat. Females are always like very tiny.
Huh.
Like they look the same, like same shape type deal, but
Yeah.
females are always very thin and males are always really wide,
We have
round,
shrimp,
very
and
yeah.
we actually have two shrimps with pregnant with eggs, probably like 2,000 eggs a piece right now. Um, and man, these females are double the size of. I know, I get it, shrimp and
I mean, yeah, females,
lobsters, but
their
the
tails
females are
get
like
wider.
double the size of the males.
Yeah, they do. I mean, the female when they're pregnant and shit, oh, if they've had whatever, they usually you do see the females have a little bit wider tail sometimes.
Wider, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
noticed. It's like a wider tail,
Well, it's
maybe
like a
thinner
woman.
but
Oh, the
wider.
same thing I do as a woman. She gets pregnant, her ass gets bigger usually, a little
Yeah,
bit
well, that's
sometimes.
true. That is true.
So
Your
the same.
body's supposed to put on subcutaneous fat to be able to sustain breastfeeding for at least a year. There's actually a purpose to getting fat. Women, we don't just get fat just because it's a negative side effect of pregnancy. There's a purpose for it.
There's always a purpose for everything.
Yeah.
10:32. Wow. What a fucking this. Even though it's raining, it's still a nice day. It's starting to brighten up a little bit, so I think it might clear off pretty well. Can't really tell which way it's moving.
Mob lobster. Instead of rock lobster, it's mob lobster. I
And
missed almost all the shows yesterday. I just slept most of the afternoon yesterday.
I just there's a lot of shows I don't really. I mean, I guess I go in, but it's like, fuck now. I'm getting tired of hearing the same bullshit.
Yes, I understand. I understand. I like to go in more just to like say hey to everybody, things like that. Get a little bit of an update, but that's about
That's
it.
why
I don't.
I like it when Mr. P's live. A lot of people give him shit. You guys shit for going so long, but it's like, fuck man, you get a different cast of characters, and you can get way different. You can get a better range of discussion that way. You
Yes.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, cause when you get different people coming up, you can change that subject just like that, almost. You know, and
Definitely.
it's good. You got people asking questions and pondering shit, and that's oh shit, look at that. All them fucking birds are finally flying off. Oh fuck, I don't see. You guys see? Can you see that shit? Okay, they're all fucking flying off. I can't see it. They're all fucking going crazy. I don't know what fuck's down there, but they're going nuts.
Are they diving? It's hard to see.
I don't know. You got a bunch flying around. You got some kind of hovering, flying away. I don't know. There's fucking. I don't know what the fuck they were, but they're gone. That group of them's gone.
Is it seagulls?
That's what I thought they were, because it looked all white down there on the beach.
Hmm. I know we the blues go crazy, or well, the seagulls go crazy if there's like any blues around, any
You know what?
bluefish.
Yeah, yeah. You know
That's how
what?
we know where they are. That's how we know where to scoot over to, because they'll just be circling and diving into that area. Just
So
run up
it's
on
funny
that and start start trolling it.
when there's an eagle around, right? Because there's eagles all through the bay, and when there's an eagle out fucking, fishing and shit, the damn seagulls will fly off, go get the fucking crows and shit, and they'll fly back, and the motherfuckers will chase the eagle off. Like you'll see them up there, like the eagle, like fighting like seagulls and these damn things. It's crazy, man. It's like what
Maybe
the
the
hell?
eagles maybe going for a nest or something, or
No, no, they just they because they're out there. Because like if you throw bait over, sometimes the eagle will come down and get it. So when the eagle's there, obviously the eagle's the top predator. So
yeah.
they scare him off because I mean, an eagle will come down and grab a seagull and shit out of the fucking air and eat it. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
absolutely. Yeah, no, I've
So
seen them
like I've seen it happen,
pick up
but
all
it's
kinds of
like,
stuff from the ground.
but it's like, no, they will. They'll like that. You'll have the seagulls there, and then you'll see like a bunch of seagulls fly off, and then come. As I said, you'll see come back, and there's usually some crows with them. Yeah, or vice versa. You'll see like a crow up there, like flying around, touring with the damn eagle, and then like you'll see another one fly off and come back with like 3 or 4 damn seagulls, and the next thing you know, there's all kinds of seagulls. It's like what the fuck, dude? I'm telling you, true
Dude,
story. Like I'm not making
they
this
have
shit
their
up.
ways of communication. They have communities and stuff. They're not like single predators like
Them fucking seagulls.
the way eagles are. Crows are freaking with some of the smartest animals on the planet, believe it or not.
I mean, seagulls, man. Them fucking motherfuckers are smart. They
They're
know where the food
opportunists.
is. They
I've
know
seen
where the
seagulls
food
whip
is.
down and eat something out of somebody's mouth.
Like, you know
I
what I mean?
mean,
Them motherfuckers are fearless. Like, some of them. Like, there, there's a seagull, man, that comes to the store here in town. You can walk right up to him and feed him shit. Like, you know what I mean? He's
hmm
kind of the mascot now. Like, they redid their breakfast menus and shit like that. And he's Bob the seagull's featured on him. So it's kind of funny, the fucking birds. Or like the salmon pins. We got salmon pins out here, and them birds will sit there, and they know they can eat like the food and the byproduct and shit like that when it floats out. But like they'll sit
I
there at
don't know
them
what a
fucking net.
salmon pin is. What does that look like? So I can try to, in my mind, think of maybe it's a bird I just haven't recognized or haven't
No, a
identified.
salmon pen is what they grow salmon in. Like they
Oh, okay. I
cultivate
see what you're
salmon.
saying.
And salmon
Okay, I
pin.
get your salmon pin. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. So then fucking seagulls will sit there and then they'll peck at the fucking mesh with their beaks and shit till they rip a hole through. Then they'll go down in and they'll eat the fucking the salmon that's down in there. Like it's fucking. It's like what the fuck.
Oh
You know
man,
what I
they're
mean? But
pesty, pesty little things. Those. My dad used to call them sea or flying rats.
oh yeah, I mean they are. They're fucking annoying as all hell. Cause you'll get a group of them, then all you hear,
Yeah.
fucking them noisy fucking bastards.
A
I
lot
like
of the
catching
places
them.
down here, you're like, you can't feed them or anything, especially if you're like, getting at any little small seafood place that's near the beach or stuff. It's like absolutely no feeding the seagull because they come by and they poop on everything. They remember that area, so they continue to come back to harass customers, and it's like a whole problem.
Yeah. Oh, who's that coming? Dana? Dana? Johnny.
It's nice. It's not so friggin' hot today. Usually by 11 o'clock, it's really starting to ramp up in the heat.
Right? No, it's nice. Cool.
I mean,
Then we
this
have,
don't get me wrong. The sun's not out, but at least it's not sweltering.
yeah. I mean, we haven't down this way. It hasn't been really all that hot. We've had maybe 5, 6 days that have been really scorchers. Other than that, it's been pretty
No, that makes
chill.
sense.
I mean, if
I
you
mean,
go
just a
inland,
couple, like just an hour or two north, that's you get several degrees cooler, and
fuck.
that's not even necessarily right on the ocean. So
If
if
you
you're like
go
right near the ocean and much further up, you're gonna get substantially cooler days.
ask Vic. I showed him this. I was on a stream or did a stream or whatever, and it was what 65, 64, 65 degrees in Jonesport. I got about 15, 20 miles out of town, and it was 20, 25 degrees warmer.
Yeah, I believe
He
it.
couldn't
Just
get
the
he couldn't
pavement
get over
alone,
it.
the pavement, I think they say that raises it on average by 8 to 10 degrees just having a lot of pavement.
Fuck, this is going across the Blueberry Barrens, which is all dirt roads. You know what I
Oh
mean?
wow.
So I mean, up there it gets fucking hot. It's
Oh,
crazy.
so is it? No, no, no. Never mind. Never mind.
I mean, the Blueberry Barrens. Just think of a dust bowl that's growing fucking blueberries.
Yeah, no, I
I
heard most of the blueberries come from Maine.
I mean, you got the fields. I mean, underneath of it's just sand. Like I don't know if you ever heard of the desert of Maine, which is in Freeport,
No,
but
I never heard of that.
yeah. So it's all because of goats, I guess. I guess because we went there and did the tour one time. It's like a tourist attraction now. It's like the oldest barn in Maine too, I think. Uh,
Wait,
but
because the goats ate away all the vegetation? Is that what you mean?
yeah, like
Oh,
he raised so many goats and shit, and he had so many goats that they just destroyed the land, and it wind up turning pretty much into a desert. Like they got birch trees, right? That the sand is just blown around and is buried over, and these birch trees just kind of keep growing. So, like, what did they say? A birch tree on average is maybe like 90 feet. These birch trees are like 200 feet or something, or
wow.
100, no, 100 and
100.
150 feet. I think they're like 150 feet.
Wow.
Yeah. Because, like, the sand's gone up. Like, there's an old shack out there that there's like a height meter on it, how far underneath the sand it is, and it changes throughout the years and shit. But essentially, the vegetation that's growing, starting to grow back, like and all that shit, is blueberries. So it's kind of funny because essentially that's what the blueberry barrens is. It was just a sandy place that's what started to grow there. Like it's so
Well,
weird because it's
that's good. If they're able to get some vegetation to grow back, they should be able to slowly. But at this point, they probably don't want to because anytime anything else grows, now it's considered a pest and invasive. And
yeah.
once there's some root structure in the ground, then it's easier for another seed to get stuck there to
Well, it's
sprout
like
and then it continues almost like a mesh underneath the sand,
yeah.
you
I
know.
mean, if you look straight ahead, there's a fucking like a sand hill or whatever right there. And on top of it, I mean, it's all grown up with like these trees and shit. But underneath of it, if it was taken care of, would be like it would grow blueberries. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But it just fucking doesn't get obviously because it's on a fucking hill. But essentially, that's what a fucking blueberry field is. Sand. Then you have like that brownish like peat moss shit, whatever the fuck it is. And then you have the berries, like the soil, I guess,
Mm.
and then you have the berries. Like that's essentially what a blueberry field is.
I didn't realize that a lot of blueberries were grown in sandy fields. The only blueberries I've ever really seen grown in like a large amounts is at my grandmother's house, and it's just
Yeah,
regular old dirt. So I wasn't even aware that they were grown in sand. A lot of
yeah. You go up to the barrens and dig a hole, and you see how long it takes you to actually hit sand. It wouldn't take you all that long. So, because it only has that top layer of soil, like that brown, like I said, that brownish peat moss shit, whatever it's called.
mm,
I mean, it's good, rich soil because, and the way they keep it is, they don't harvest the same fields every year. They alternate them. So one year
yes, you have to. You have to,
they
or
burn the
it'll.
crop,
Yeah.
then they regrow the crop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because it'll just like suck all the nutrients out of the soil so much
Yeah.
that it'll become unusable.
Well, it's like in California where they've had all them wildfires. If they could stop having the wildfires, all that shit that burnt will eventually grow
Oh,
back,
absolutely.
and it will grow back, and you could tame it, and you can make it more, more. You can make it better than what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think here in the woods too, 'cause at least here in Maine, you look through the side of the road and shit. You got shit. At least me, and since I've lived around here, shit's growing up, filling in. You got more and more blowdowns. It's like they should at least so many feet into the woods, they should go in and clear all that dead shit out.
Yeah.
You know?
So I don't know if you've ever looked at maps, but I found this interesting. But in the northern hemisphere, they've there's more trees now than like ever in the last 150 years or something, and you can look and see like there's just explosive growth, especially across Canada, of tree growth. And even if you do look around, you'll notice a lot of the trees that we do have, even off in the wooded areas, they're many times young trees. They're thin trees,
Yeah, yeah,
and you look at pictures from the past, and these are just huge trees that are massive. And I'm not talking about just redwood forests. I mean across the land. Um, but a lot of these things, a lot of these mother trees, is what they're called, the extra large ones, have been removed. And most of the forest, if you really look around, they're relatively young trees.
yeah.
So
Well, yeah, if
it
you look over here, this island over here, none of these trees over here are really all that fucking big around. You know what I mean? Like they're all just kind of like twigs, really. And thin island, like what you see on, like, you think them thin island trees, leaning
mm,
out towards whichever way they get the most sun.
yep.
So, but like, I bought a book of the history of like Jonesport and shit and Beals Island, and
Oh, I love stuff
you
like that.
see all these like little islands that's out to the bay and shit that has trees now that back in like the 40s and 30s and 40s and before that didn't even have fucking trees, or they were just barely little shrubs on it. You know what I mean? So, and now you look at them, it's fucking unreal.
Yeah. So apparently, about 100, 150-ish years ago, around that, leave some room for grace. Like the wood was just decimated from the nation basically as a whole.
Well, this island over here, Dunn's Island, there was supposedly way back in the day there was a silver mine over there.
Which makes sense because don't forget, like just to anybody that's like, these people are killing the trees. Yeah, okay, well, every house was made of wood. Every house was heated with wood. I mean, it's a little different. It's
Yeah.
if you had to survive by cutting down that trees, I think it would be you'd have a little less empathy for the trees as we do today.
Well, you talk to the old timers around here, and they talk about growing up and how like they're they have stories of like their grandparents and their parents going out to like these islands and shit and getting like seagull eggs and all that shit to eat, you
Yeah.
know, because that's what they had to do, or they would eat seagulls and all that type of shit back in the
Hmm.
day, because that's what they had to do to survive.
Squirrels and all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff we would never think of eating today. Possums, ugh, 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 ugh. Raccoons.
raccoons. Yeah, pretty much anything you could eat. You know, if I was in life or death, I would eat. Obviously, I'd eat anything.
Oh,
Because
I
I
I don't
mean,
know. If I was in like life or death, I would. There's a certain things that I would be pretty. I don't know if I would eat right away. One thing being a rat or like a
when
mouse.
okay, I mean, I can see that shit because like you could get diseases from it. So
That's what
like
I
that
mean. Now, like
kind.
one or two mouthfuls of meat is not enough for me to
But
maybe get typhus or friggin'
yeah, but like a squirrel, I would eat a
salmonella.
squirrel. I would eat. I would eat a raccoon, like if
Oh,
I had to.
absolutely, a raccoon, rabbits and stuff.
I
That
mean,
was
because let's
common.
face it. I mean, dark meat kind of all has a similar taste. Wild meat's gonna have that gamey taste to it, no matter what. Uh, you got rabbit that you can eat. You know what I mean? But you got
And
to be
those things
careful.
breed like freaking crazy. So snakes, that's another thing I used to hear my dad would be like, "Oh, we used to always eat snakes when we were a kid."
Yeah, my dad talks about eating snapping turtle.
Oh, I've heard of people eating snapping turtles, but I just never. And also alligator, all kinds of weird stuff. But I've never had anything like that. Snake is like the one of the weirdest things I've had. Like outside regular stuff, like bear and
Yeah. No,
But
I
yeah, I think rat. I think rat would be one thing. Like I would be like, man, there's got to be some leaves or something. There's got to be tree bark,
yeah.
anything but that rat.
You know, it's foraging. That's one thing. Like I think would be kind of a drawback because I don't really know what shit you could for wild plants you could
Oh,
eat
I
away
do.
from.
That's like that's some of the most extensive knowledge I have.
But like I always said though, if you put me around the ocean though, in one of them
You'd be
deals, I
fine.
would I'd survive because I know that
Well,
there's
men weren't
shellfish.
really the
There's
foragers either. Don't forget, women were the foragers, and we know this not only because we know this through historical like
I mean
passing
that
down
is
of
true.
information, but another thing is women's eyes are more like you ever notice how like women you'll be like, oh, look at that orange shirt, and they're like, honey, it's not orange, it's salmon, or you know what I'm saying? That's burnt orange. That's amber. That's this, and this isn't just because we're being like snappy. This is because we see a wider range of colors than men do. And much of this is due to evolution and searching the forest floor for very small, hyper small differences in color. And there's other reasons for this too, which is identifying like sickness. So like your uh your child is looking just ever so flush or ever so much more pale, just the tiniest tinge in difference in color. And that's supposed to help you be able to identify infections and illnesses, viruses, and different things like that, and then searching the forest floor. Where you don't have as much as a wide range of color, but you have a faster, like you can identify quick darting objects far off in the distance. Not only just far off in the distance, but behind things. So like you can have a whole range of trees in front of you and you can still see something dart across, a tree line 50 trees in. Where like I would probably struggle to identify this as easily. And this is another reason why they say, men react slightly quicker by, very um those these they might seem like, oh, that's just a myth, or that's not true, but it is true. It definitely is true. And I think it has something to do with the testosterone in the eye. Also allows the eye itself to see these quick darting objects, and this is due to be hunters.
Yeah, I mean,
Little information for you.
it's definitely true that the women were the gatherers and the men was the hunters. And you know, it's and it's been like that for eons. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as you could, it's funny. They find all these like religious ruins and shit like that there. But how is it that it seems like in life when they do find sites and all that shit, usually that's always the only thing they really ever find is a historical uh uh you know religious site. How does that seem to, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever noticed that? Like, almost everything and be like, well, anything that has to do with old times, it, they kind of dismiss the fact that that it could have been an actual civilization there. It's always, well, this is where
Oh,
they
I
came
see what you
to.
mean. Like a city, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like they always find, well, they come here to worship. How do you know? How do you know like the shit you see on these pillars, like like you see how the shit you see on the pillars and all that. How do you know that's not just how they decorated the city and the places they lived and shit? Like even
So I would
highlight,
imagine that would be
like
done
who the
mostly
fuck
by
actually
altars, finding an altar and or finding some you know ascribed words somewhere. But if it's just some random building, there's no way you can say, oh, this is just necessarily religious. Like we out, especially in this New England area, we have a lot of these like mounds, and
yeah,
they're like big and they say the same thing, they're burial sites or this or that, but these could very easily have been deep storage for like root vegetables, for
yep.
keeping food,
What the hell's there's a what the hell was the name for that? It's not like it's not cellar now. I mean, it turned into like a Doug
it's a
cellar.
root cellar essentially.
Yeah, but what the fuck is it? They called it something else. So there was like one of them little black words that you looked up in the back of the books when you were in school. The
Yeah,
the important words, the highlighted words. What the hell were they called?
i
Uh,
can't i can't
there's
recall.
some type of name for it, and I know there is. So anybody that's listening, out of the two people,
This is what I don't get is if you are you're so sure these are some type of tombs. The weirdest thing is many of these top piece stones are way bigger than anything we could have ever lifted at the time. And B, there's no bodies found. There's no remains found at these sites.
I mean, bone does decay.
Sure,
Like,
but don't you think there would be
right?
some linen? There would be some linen that the bone would like had draped over it. There would be some, I don't know, some friggin' goddamn bow and arrow with some arrowheads that
I
still
mean, it
remained.
does
And
make you wonder, like, without with all the thousands and hundreds of millions of people that have lived on this earth through the times, right? and before there was necessarily cemeteries like what you see today. Like, cause I mean, let's be real. You go to a cemetery, what's the oldest grave you might see? Like,
Most of our oldest, like, are
around here is maybe like, I think you do have some like,
15, 16 is usually like very late. It's like way late. That's like an amazing, like the craziest oldest
I
thing
think
you
the
could.
oldest I seen is like maybe 17,
Yeah, but those are
like
like those are
17
more
something.
average unfound. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we have quite a bit from 17s over here
But
because this whole area is very historical. This whole
yeah,
New
you
England.
know what I mean? So it's like, that seems like, that's almost like when you see them back that far, it's like, okay, well, this is
Hey,
what?
my freaking one of my cats was
Uh,
whacking another one.
but it's like, okay, so where the hell was everybody that lived before then buried? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck do they?
Well,
I mean, I know there was a lot of water burials at sea and all that
yeah,
shit.
and then there also was different burials based on culture, like a lot of Native American tribes. They did, I don't know what I would consider weird, but who am I to judge? But they would have like essentially these rafts, and they would put them far up in the air, like 10, 15 feet, and they would have put these rafts on wooden posts with a wooden raft on the top, and then they would lay the body on top of the wooden thing, and then so it wouldn't be buried at all. It would just lay exposed to the sun, and they decorate it with, like, I don't know, beads and feathers and shells and whatever else, special memorial for them. And there would be so obviously no kind of bones like that. I mean, none of those would be found. And then if you just buried a body by itself, that could easily that's going to be gone pretty quickly. Maybe burning bodies as well. But it does take quite a bit of effort to dig a hole, especially when there's it takes so much to survive. Do you really want to dig so many feet down? Because you can't just really bury these things 2 feet down, because the animals will dig them up.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I
how long
mean,
does it take to dig a 5 foot deep hole with one shovel or two shovels?
yeah. I mean, you think about all the soldiers and shit that passed away throughout all the wars and all these like revolutions throughout history and shit. Where the fuck are all these people at? You know what I mean? Like, I just I just feel like it's just weird. People like this kind.
I
I
know
mean, I
in
guess
some
the only
places they
thing
were
you
just
can say,
left
like I
there, and
say,
the animals picked them up. The birds picked at them. Vultures picked at them. Things, coyotes,
that's true.
foxes.
That's true. They do
And
get scattered and cost and here and there. But I just feel like you think you'd find more ancient shit. But at the same time, is throughout history they didn't really, back in the day, they didn't really regard that shit too
yeah,
much.
there wasn't
So
as much reverence for the dead the way that we have today.
so
Yeah.
like pretty much, I mean, they would build shit and destroy shit and
The reason why I find it unusual is if you're going to claim this, root cellar type structure is a burial area, then why are we finding no remains at these burial areas? You're going to find at some point. Now, don't get me wrong, it's some, maybe one out of 50, or might still have remains, and the other ones have been lost to decomposition and this or that. But at some point, you're going to come across remains at some point, if that's really what it was.
yeah.
And it just doesn't seem to be like that. Just there just doesn't seem to be any remains in them.
No, I mean, what they got, what, that Serpent Mound in Ohio? Like,
Yep.
I mean, and they've done scans on that, and I don't think they've found anything that resembles remains. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep. No, I know exactly what you mean.
So,
And even where they were buried, I wouldn't imagine there would be any longer any markers, so like even where our oldest burials, like we're talking from like 16, like late 15s, the markers are so tiny, and they're like the tiniest little piece of cement with just a little bit of words etched into them. And even that, they're, you know, they maybe, I'd say 10 inches tall, maybe a foot. It's now 4 or 5 inches underground. They're broken in half. They're crumbling, and this is with reasonable upkeep too. So I would imagine, like, before cement and stuff like that, what would you mark a grave with? Just a couple of sticks? I mean,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, yeah, the world is full of mysteries for sure.
definitely,
You
especially in
know.
the ocean where your
Oh, I
forte
mean,
is.
they say there's an ungodly amount of fucking money and shit in the ocean as far as like lost merchandise
90%.
and
If
all
I'm
that.
correct, I think it's 90% of the ocean is has not been mapped. Something like some crazy amount of the ocean.
Well, it's like they what they find like they're still finding gold and shit from them fucking wrecks from the Spanish Armada that
Yep,
sunk. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like it's crazy to think after all these hundreds of years later. And get this, the Spanish recovered a lot of the gold. They really did back then. They recovered quite a bit of it.
I'm surprised because, like, well, I guess the likelihood of it going down would be closer to shore,
I mean,
so
they
that
have.
makes
I mean,
sense.
you think about it. Back
But
then,
how the heck do
they
you
would
do
have
that?
who's the
You
bravest
know,
man to dive to the bottom and retrieve this? We'll tie a rope to you. You know what I mean? Like that's how they operated back in the day. They had free divers, people that were brave enough to try to dive.
I don't
That
know if
could
they were
swim.
brave people,
Yeah, they were probably
Leggy. I don't
forced
know if
to.
they were brave. I think they were probably not voluntary. Voluntary.
Yeah, they were probably voluntold.
Yeah, yeah.
Who wants to volunteer? How about you, sir? That's when that happened. I remember that in basic training. You you were always told not to volunteer for everything, but if you didn't volunteer, they would fucking volunteer. You were voluntold. So
Yeah, you see, you pick and choose. You pick and choose your battles.
well, that's
Volunteer
what.
for some
Yeah,
things, don't
exactly.
volunteer for everything. Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna lie, KP duty, man, that was the best thing I ever fucking volunteered for. I love KP duty, kitchen duty. That was
Oh, okay.
fucking yeah, that was fucking awesome. You get because you got to eat fucking as much as you wanted. You didn't have no restraint. You could joke around.
Mm.
You could go take a shit without fucking having a time limit. Really, it was cool.
Nice.
It was a nice week break from for a couple hours a day from getting fucking your ass drilled off all day.
Yeah, I hear similar from people in prison and jail. They say the kitchen is the best, the best work that you can be allowed to do when you're in there, for the same reasons too, because you get an unlimited amount of access to food. You kind of get to joke around a little bit, and
Exactly.
I hear the same thing from that large group of men.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to prison, so I don't know. But yeah, from what I gather
Neither have
from
I, but I've definitely
yeah, that's what I
heard the
gather.
stories.
That
Yeah.
and I heard trash detail was pretty good too. Usually wasn't a bad one.
What else was good?
The trash detail, that wasn't too
Oh,
bad.
I would imagine that would be terrible. It would be stinky. It would be heavy. It would be.
We just there was a guy here recently in this area. He was out on work release, right?
Hmm.
And he wind up planning an escape from the blueberry factory. He was working at a blueberry factory right there. And he had planned to escape. He went out on break and never came back. And they wind of course the dumbass he did the call in jail, so all they did was just listen to the fucking phone calls back. And
Oh, jeez.
they figured out where the fuck he was, but yeah, I would have used somebody's cell phone and shit.
Oh, you know,
But
like I always hear about this, and it's like, how can criminals are like so smart and so stupid at the same time. I saw another one where it was like a guy, and he was in an interrogation room, and he was cuffed and shackled, and he slipped his cuffs, then pretended he had the cuff on, completely like laid his head over his arms. It was like, oh, I'm just still attached to this table, because he wasn't only cuffed, he was also attached to the table. You know how they have
yeah.
that big bar that's attached to the table, so he was also attached to that. The detective came back in, checked on him, and then he was like, okay, this is my second route. And he crawls up um into the ceiling, goes like 20 feet over to try to, shimmy his way out, and falls through the hallway floor. Falls through the hallway ceiling into the hallway of the old police
Oh yeah,
department.
yeah. He was trying to do some James Bond shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
It's like,
Mister.
man,
I
you,
seen that clip. That was a fucking clip on YouTube.
dude, yes. That
Yeah.
was like, man, you did such a good job. You planned that out so
What the
meticulously.
fuck? There's this jail. Where the fuck? Maybe I want to say it was in Pennsylvania. There was
I
this
don't.
jail, man. Within like a month span, they had like 5 people escape. They had like a
Whoa.
breakout where 3 people escaped, and then they had another breakout where another like 2 people escaped. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, I want to go to this prison if I ever go. Fucking people escaping left and right. It's like, what the fuck, people? So dumb. It's just like that fucking dude and that CO there, that high ranking CO woman that, what was it, last year or 2 years ago, that fucking escaped and they found him in wherever, and they had to shoot out and shit, and she killed herself and the dude
Oh,
survived or
you
whatever.
mean where it was like a woman CO helped a prisoner escape?
Yeah,
Yes, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
yeah. And the thing is, she was a high ranking fucking thing. She was
Yeah.
about ready to retire and shit. So like she wasn't some fucking low ranking pony either. I'm like just thinking, what could this dude have? Like this dude must have fucking laid it in pretty fucking good, man. Must have made her fucking knees quiver or something. 'Cause holy shit, man.
At that
So
point,
you
I'm telling, I don't want to, I don't want to rain on his parade, or gentleman's parade, but no amount of knee quivering makes women do that. It was definitely a mental, a whatever it was. It was psychologically. Uh, it
well
was,
listen to this shit.
you know what I
So,
mean?
so my wife's friend, right? So she got married right after me and my wife did whatever, right? This dude who was full of fucking shit. Dude's fucking, you catch him in lie after lie after lie. So it was funny. Like he tried to tell me he was born in Ireland one time, right? And then she goes, "I thought you said you were born in New Hampshire." Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like all this type shit. Like he's like, then he was like, "No, I was born in Ireland. Then we moved to New Hampshire." And then like so one day I go, "So was Teddy born in New Hampshire, Ireland? He was born in New Hampshire, and whatever." And told me the whole story of how it happened, like when his mother went in late, like this whole fucking story his dad did. So I'm like, anyway, there's all kinds of red flags. Anyways, let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So long story short, here, finally after these years they've been together, whatever. Fucking shit finally blew the fuck over, and they had an argument. Bitch boy called the cops and shit because she threw fucking something at him and smacked him in the chest, whatever, right? I
Oh,
mean, yeah,
geez.
whatever. Maybe shouldn't have put her hands on him, but still, I mean, fuck. He probably did say something ignorant that pissed her off, and the fucking heat of the moment, she fucking whatever. Cool. I mean, shit happens. Not enough to, in my opinion, not want to call the cops. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe get a divorce, but not call the cops. But anyways, long story short is called cops. She got arrested. Blah blah blah. Now they're going through a divorce. She's now talking to this motherfucker's brother, who looks very similar to him. But here's the
Hey,
catch.
well, Leggy, we have a type, don't you know?
But
Us,
listen,
us
listen.
ladies have a type.
But listen. Here's the catch. This motherfucker's in prison for the rest of his life
No,
because he fucking shook a fucking baby to death.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my
But yeah, she's
gosh.
talking to this motherfucker, like getting into a relationship with him. Like went and fucking seen him in
So
person and all
it's
this shit.
funny you say that because
But
I've actually heard about women who date men that are they're serving sentences, and there's like this weird psychology around the women that they've
well, it's
investigated,
like
and it's like they want to be in a relationship that they can't ever actually come into contact or ever have to worry about any
yeah.
like
Well,
fallout.
it's like her daughter, like her daughter classifies me as her uncle, or whatever. But it's like I remember when she like met the dude because they used to go stand outside the county jail and wave at these. My wife included, which I make fun of her for it to this day, because they used to go outside and wave to fucking these prisoners and shit, right?
Yeah.
And anyways, Casey wind up fucking somehow getting the dude's information to the window, and she started writing the dude. They wind up getting in a relationship. He was a piece of shit. Long story short, he was a piece of shit, and he was in jail for fucking domestic violence. And everybody, my wife included, was like, "You probably shouldn't marry him." She did stupidly. She
Yeah,
wind
because
up
she wants to have
fucking.
conjugal. You have to you have to marry in order to have conjugal.
Well, I mean, he got released.
Oh my
He
gosh,
wasn't in
they
for life.
released him? I thought
Yeah,
you said
not
he
the
was a
dude. No,
life sentence
this
for
is when she
shaking a
first
baby.
got whatever. Yeah, not the dude with the baby. No,
Oh,
this is
oh,
the
the
whole. He
first
was in
husband.
this. Yeah, her first husband. He was in there for domestic violence or drugs or something like that. Anyway, she met
Oh.
him through the fucking window of the jail. Long story short, she divorced him. Fucking blah blah blah. And I'm like just thinking, all right, let's be real. You have the type because you know these are the only dudes that's really that's gonna poke you. Because I mean,
Mm,
let's face it, you don't really take care of yourself. You're kind of a slob, and you smell.
mm.
Like you know what I mean? Like I'm
No, so
thinking,
I understand that. Most of the time the women that I see that are like oh like in love with these men they are not the cream of the crop. I'll just be gentle and say it like nicely.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. They're not
I
as the
understand.
macho man will say, the cream will rise to the top. Well, guess what? These bitches, they gotta take the low class man because they can't. Like I'm not gonna lie, like there is a stereotype of shit, and like usually usually it's pretty true.
Stereotypes are usually based some level in truth.
I mean,
Not
it's
always, not
like
always, but
I get a kick out of it. Dudes will move to
they come
Maine
from
from
a place.
like,
It just doesn't come from their imagination.
well, I always find it funny. You get dudes that move from from all these places like Boston and New York and like all these big cities and shit like that there. And they'll come up here and they'll try to be like the fucking, like what you think of people from that area. And it's like, yo, you're fake as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
stop. You're in fucking Maine, yo. Like, if you're gonna live here, you gotta kind of get with the fucking program.
Adapt, yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't sit here and act like you're a G and a fucking thug man because there's boys around here that'll fucking smack you around like you're a little bitch. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, most of those quote G's are they're all hot air.
it's
I've
like
only
what the
lived in
fuck?
these areas my entire life, and when it really comes down, it's basically two dogs barking through a fence, and most of them don't know anything about any real life shit.
It's yeah, like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I tell, but it's the same thing around here. I tell dudes around here that run their fucking mouth, like, yo, go anywhere else and see what the fuck happens. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, like there was one dude one day. So where I live, there's a corner, right? And people speed through this fucking corner. Well, you can't always see what's coming around that fucking corner. So like I'll pull out of my driveway and sometimes there's a fucking vehicle right up on your ass. So I did this one morning and this fucking dude, I mean, and I punched on it because I see it coming, so I fucking punched on and get it. This motherfucker chased me right down the fucking road, right?
Oh my
He
gosh.
stepped the fuck out. I pulled in the store. He got the fuck out and he goes, if you ever, and I stopped him right fucking there. And I go, listen here, buddy. I go, you can get your fucking ass back in that fucking truck and you can mosey on down the fucking road or your ass is going to get in a fucking body bag. You know what I mean? Because like you don't do that shit. You don't roll up on fucking somebody and
Yeah.
think that you don't fucking know, because you never know what the fuck's gonna happen. That's how motherfuckers get shot. That's how
Oh,
motherfuckers get
absolutely.
stabbed. You know what I mean? Because they're dumb. They run the fucking mouth to the wrong person and think it's all
Yeah.
fun and games until that motherfucker goes bang bang or sticks their ass and sees you bleed like a stuffed fucking pig. You know what I mean? Like I don't get dudes that will sit there and run your fucking mouth. Like if you want to fight and throw hands. But don't sit there and run your fucking mouth or take a cheap shot and then think you're gonna get the fuck away with it, you know?
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Like if you roll up on a man that has a fucking family and shit, like especially in certain parts of the country, like I know Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, Alabama has more guns per capita than anybody. Like everybody in Alabama carries it, like in the vehicles, everything,
Yeah.
right? And like you roll up on somebody down there, especially if they got the family with them, and see what the fuck happens. You know,
Yeah. No,
like
nobody, like you said, nobody with a family or that values their life is going to risk maybe that person not just being all hot air. It's just not worth the risk.
it's like my brother, man. Everybody in town knows my fucking brother's not somebody fucked with because he's proven it more than once. You know what I mean? He carries, and I mean, let's face it. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with a firearm, you crazy fuck? But I mean, he's relatively safe, but everybody knows that he's not afraid to fucking use it either. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
your brother's probably one of those. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? Like he don't give a fuck. Like if you want to fuck with him and you want to fucking be about that life, he's a dumb fuck. I mean, I'll put it I mean, I love my brother to death, but I call him a reject cast member of the Sons of Anarchy. But I go, what the fuck do you do? Go fucking try out for Opie and get denied, so you just stayed in character the rest of your life, or what? He gets so pissed at me for it, but I'm just like,
I understand. I get really frustrated when people try to, pull the whole
Nunzio.
like I'm so hard thing, especially because the hardest dudes I ever met in my life, like the ones that are really about that, as they say, they are not like that. They are not getting in everyone's face. They hold themselves like very much with class and dignity. They're not trying to fight everybody that they come up to. And only in the most extreme circumstances are they going to do anything, because these are real killers. They're not you know they're not
True
trying,
salute.
you know what I mean, they're not
Yeah.
there's nothing to prove because they're so assured in themselves.
You know, I remember when I was a kid, right? We lived in Baltimore because my dad's from Baltimore and shit. So we were living down there taking care of my grandmother because she had cancer and shit. And we were I can remember taking care of her and all that shit. Well, there was if you walked around, there was what was called the Spanish block, right? It was all whatever. I can remember, like I was young, and I can remember learning really quick. You kept your fucking mouth shut, and you didn't say shit to nobody. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, a lot of especially the immigrants, they actually, speaking of with the immigrants, there's been quite a few like carjacking type of situations where they block the road off and try to carjack a car. And
I
um,
don't know if you can really blame that on immigrants per
yeah, well, a
se.
lot of these incidences there's recordings of them, and um, many of them are Hispanic immigrants. I'm
I
sorry to
mean,
say it, but it is.
I guess maybe in that area, I don't think we have that. We don't have the issue up
No, no,
here.
not up there. I mean, up
But
there, I mean, you guys got
like
90% white people, 98%. It's like
me,
crazy high.
this is how I put it. Anybody that wants to come here and they want to be that American life and they want to do it the right way and the honest way, I don't have an issue. It's the ones that come over here illegally, and then you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah,
Then
no,
they
I'm
take
talking about
jobs
like
away. That I don't like.
MS-13 kind of
But
people,
I don't
gang
give a fuck.
members that came over, things like this, human traffickers, and mostly down south, you'll find this.
I mean, you do have like they do blame the drug problem on the Mexican cartel and shit like
No,
that.
most of
There,
the
well,
drugs here come from China.
you know what I mean? I mean, it's just
Comes
one of them
through
things.
Mexico. Don't get me wrong, it comes through Mexico, but it comes from China.
That's awesome, True. I'm glad your son made it home safe, brother. I'm glad he made it home safe, True. That's awesome, man. I hope he enjoyed his time up here in the great state of Maine, i.e., the way life should be.
Yeah. I know we've thought about it quite a few times, moving up to Maine.
Well, I just couldn't imagine living in
Definitely
Connecticut.
have an affinity for it, but man, it's just that cold, man. It's so cold already year round, and not only that, but like the depression rate is really high, the alcoholism rate is really high, the suicide rate is really high. Um, so those are
Yep.
kind of drawbacks, and I think a lot of that has to do with the long winter, the isolation effect.
It's awesome that he loves Maine. He wouldn't love it here in a couple months, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing for 5 months. The rest of the
Yeah,
year it sucks.
maybe. I'll give it credit for
For 4.
4 months.
Oh well, I was trying to be a little bit give it a little bit of room. For me, 4, because I'm very susceptible to cold.
I mean, I don't mind the fall. The fall's probably
Fall's my favorite. My favorite
yeah, and
season.
early
Yeah,
spring. Cause I like
yeah.
them
Spring
chill,
and
brisk
fall.
mornings. I like them
Yep.
brisk mornings.
Me too.
Them are nice to work in when it's about 40 to 50 degrees. Them are nice mornings to work, really, because you don't get over hot, you don't get too cold. You can wear one sweatshirt and maintain a good body temperature.
Mm. Yeah. As long as you keep moving, you're good to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Always got to move forward.
I don't know if I would go quite down to 40, but
Yeah, but that ain't bad. I mean, fuck,
well, you're also a man,
I've been
and you're
out digging
also
clams
probably
when
a
with
lot
the
bigger than me, so you have more body mass and you have better circulation to your extremities.
well, I've put a lot of time in digging clams when it's
Yeah.
cold out. Ice, like ice is building up on your hand as you're digging. Like you got to shake the ice off. Wind blowing. So tell you what, when I say I put in work, I put
Dang
in
it.
fucking work, man. Although I still
I
wouldn't
can't
want to
hear all of a
crab
sudden. I
fish
don't know if
yet.
you can hear me, but I'm probably going to have to restart
No,
because
I can
I
hear
got a
you.
phone call and now I
I
can't
hear
hear
you.
anything. Hold on.
Yeah. Anyways, I could never crab fish. I don't think up in Alaska, 'cause that's too fucking cold and too brutal of weather. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it.
Sorry, I got a phone call and then it wouldn't, no sound went through. I don't know if you could hear me or not,
Yeah,
but
I can hear you.
I couldn't hear you. Um, so yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing because of the, just millennia of hunting and going on long trips you know, away from the thing. You guys have more circulation to your extremities, and this is to prevent frostbite on long trips. And we have most of our circulation keeps heat in our core in the stomach area, and that is because um, we really need to regulate the temperature in our stomachs in order to produce children.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my fingertips would be like friggin' burnt off pretty quickly. That's why women, you ever see women that touch you and their friggin' hands are like icicles?
Yeah.
Their feet and hands are like icicles. You're like, what the heck is wrong? What is going on with you? That's why that is. It's so interesting, uh, you know, the different biological differences in men and women. Even though I know we're so much want to be, society so badly wants to pretend that we're physically exactly the same, but we're just not. We're just not.
No, definitely not.
Men have double the grip strength. So gripping. This is why we often ask you guys to please open a very stubborn jar, because you have on average double the grip strength. You have larger lung capacity. You have a more stronger connective tissue and stronger bone density. So yeah, it's not the same. Like you can have a hundred pound, even if you had a 100 pound male and a 100 pound female. There's large differences in the biological makeup.
Yeah. I mean, anatomy is anatomy, no matter which way you
I
shake
know
it.
that's why it boggles my mind when I hear people, just even try to sell that idea. There's more subcutaneous fat on a woman on average. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of differences. Like I said, the differences in the eyesight, the differences in smell. That's
Have
another
you
thing.
noticed, Sam? Because you're a little bit older than I am. Have you noticed that within like the last 20 years, the idea of a woman has changed? Though, like 20 years ago, it was kind of like the thinner the better. Now it's like everywhere as you look around, every girl's trying to fucking have some bank some coin
Yes.
in the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and,
like,
and that's sad because only 8% of women are even hourglass shaped at all, at all. Less than 1% have a size D or larger. So it's like the amount of women that actually embody the stereotype, that the image that they want young girls to see as what is beautiful, is unreachable for the
I mean, don't get
amount.
me wrong though. Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong, they look
I
great.
like I like the thickness. Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong, slim, thick, amazing, but I just think it's very unreachable for most women.
It's like everybody's like, "Oh my God, Kim Kardashian!" It's like, bitch, her tits are fake and her ass. Like,
Yeah,
come the fuck
but
on.
not only that, I mean, it's not a lot of it doesn't even look good when you actually see real photos of her. It don't look like what she looked like when the photos of the magazine covers come out. It's just cellulite from the knee all the way up to the halfway up the back. And it's lumpy, and it doesn't, it's a lot of that is airbrushed. It's
I
there's
just,
shapewear, there's a lot going on there holding that all together.
yeah,
How old are you?
I'm 35.
So I'm not older than you.
Oh, you're not?
No, we're the same age, and I
Oh,
just turned 35. And Mr. P is 36, and he just turned 36.
well, actually, I can't say. I still got a month to go, I guess. So I'm not quite 35 yet, but
Okay, so you're so we're like
I'm closer
6
to
months.
35 than not.
Okay, so we're like maybe 6 months apart,
Yeah,
probably around that rate.
yeah, yeah,
April, April to May to June, July to August. So, and okay, so 4 months ago I turned 35.
yeah.
Oof, it's almost already been a half a year. Oh my gosh, it
But
feels
fuck
like it
it.
just
I
happened.
go, what the fuck? I said that the other day. Someone asked me, oh, I go 35. My wife's like, no, you're 34. I go, what the fuck difference is a month?
Yeah,
I go,
yeah,
I'm closer to 35 than I'm fucking 34.
yeah. But she's just like, don't rush it, don't rush it. It's already going fast enough.
Yeah.
I
I
know.
tell
I
you
mean,
what, I can't do the shit that I used to do. I can't.
of
Like, I remember
course.
I used to be
Yeah,
a kid, teenager. I used to be on a bike, like one of them 20-inch bikes. I used to be able, like the fucking ones with the pegs and shit, the BMX style. I used to
yeah,
be able to fucking like stand up on the center bar of it and sit there and do fucking and stand up and ride it that way, like with no hands and balance. And then I fucking one day I wrecked and shit, fucked myself up. And then let's see. And then I stopped doing that because I figured that was a bad idea. Then I tried to do it here a couple years, like 2 years ago, and it wasn't happening.
It really humbled you, right?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't happening. And then like basketball, man. Yeah, I'm a young man in retrospect, but the type of work I do, I've beat my fucking body up.
Yes. Not
So
only
like
that,
me,
but leggy, men's peak is like 15 to 19, 15 to 22 maybe
so it's like I'll
tops.
go try to play basketball with these fucking kids now, and it's like, yeah, like I can outscore them and shit. But as far as like I mean, as I
And
said
you're
at
a
the beginning of
smoker
this,
too, right?
I've never had necessarily the best footwork in the world. But like now, my knees and shit, like in my legs, I can't quite move as fast as I used to because I used to be pretty quick. I mean, I got my spurts and shit like that there, but it's like, holy fuck! It seems like I just work that much harder than I used to do anything.
Of
Anyways, long story
course.
short, I just can't keep up with these young cats because, like, I used to like go play pickup games and shit like that there at like the college and shit, and you would have like a mix of guys and all that, from old guys to young guys to high schoolers, you know. And
Mm.
it's always fun when you get a group of the high school kids playing against the older guys.
Yeah,
Because then you got a lot of shit talking, really.
of course. Because the older guys, they know all the tricks, and they know the easier methods and how to and the young guys don't know that, so the older guys have the advantage in that respect. But the younger guys have the brute energy.
Man, I knew this old guy. He was like 52 or whatever. He'd play though. And I mean, he wasn't like super fast, but he could still move all right. But man, I tell you what, you let him shoot that ball, you could kiss it fucking goodbye because he was scoring. You know what I mean? Like there was no ands if buts about it. The fucking dude just had to touch. So it's like one of them things. If you can play ball, you never really forget how to play. It's like Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and all them dudes. They can still shoot the fucking ball. Yeah, they ain't dunking it and doing all the crazy shit, but I guarantee you they can still shoot. What happened? Oh, she went on mute.
Well, I could be wrong, but I didn't like when Jordan played. He he got like a lot of the rest of the team kind of did a lot of the work getting the ball to him, and then he scored. So it's like he didn't have to really put in necessarily quite as much energy. He was more like the one doing the scoring and less so you know uh, fighting across the court.
Yeah. I mean, that's not that's not that's not
Because
dismiss.
basketball was
That's
much
not
different then than it
dismiss the
is
goat.
now.
That's not. Well, yeah. I mean, you can't. It's like you can't compare the era. Like you could kind of compare Jordan and Kobe because they cross paths. You know what I mean? But you can't compare Jordan to LeBron because they never. I don't believe they ever crossed paths. You know what
Not
I
only
mean?
that, but don't get me wrong, I'm not privy very much to basketball, but from what I hear from people who play it, watch it, they say there's just no comparison. Kobe does everything, or LeBron does everything, and Jordan basically kind of sit near the sideline near the thing,
Yeah,
and
I don't know, but because look
the
at
rest of the
Jordan's
team was
frame.
basically propping him up at all
But
times, where Kobe would play the whole game, and he was the anchor rather than the
yeah,
you
but
know
if you look at LeBron's size, though, right? I mean, especially back then, he was a big fucking dude for that position. I mean, you look at Jordan's frame and you look at LeBron's, you look at Dwayne Wade, you look at Carmelo, like fucking LeBron's fucking huge compared to him. You know what I mean?
hmm.
So, like, when you got a man like that, I'm not taking nothing away from LeBron. I just think that there's a lot of smoke that's been blown up his ass his whole career, and the man was more distracted by that than playing the game. Jordan, on the other hand, when he come into the league, he was there to prove himself. You know what I mean? Because for years and years and years, he was told he wasn't good enough, and then he fucking, once he
Sure, I
once
think they
he
both had different hurdles because the game was different at different times.
Yeah, I mean it's complete. It's like even now the game's all about the three ball. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
You really don't have the fucking explosive fucking dunks and alley oops and the fucking crazy shots that you used to have. Like, I mean, I remember Iverson, the shit he used to do when he used to drive baseline and come up and fucking do that reverse shit, no look, fucking up behind his back, boom, spin around the rim, down in. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, who else could do that shit, you know?
Well, I'm actually. I mean, it's impressive, but I always just if they can still make the game entertaining and not like milk their bodies so much, then I would prefer that.
You know, I've definitely, I guess, the older I get, I'm more into football than I am basketball now.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
really
I've
haven't
always liked
followed,
football over basketball.
I really haven't followed basketball per se. Like the Celtics, man. Like, I just, I love the Celtics. I just don't follow them like I used to. Like, sometimes it's like people talk about somebody, and I'm like, when the fuck did this motherfucker get on the team? Like, or how long they been? They're the star player of the fucking Celtics. Well, when the fuck did this happen? Last time I knew it was this player, you know?
I know that's like you sound so old. I know exactly what you mean. We're like saying that, and then people are like, "Okay,
Well, it's
boomer."
like, man,
Yeah,
I grew up with a generation of Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker. That was the first incarnation of like a good Celtics team that I can remember. And then it turned into you got the big three. And then you had Shaq that came. You know what I mean? I mean Shaq
mm,
kind of just flunked out and retired from Boston, but that's not here or there. But I mean, you had Kevin Garnett and really
yep,
uh
Garnett.
Al Allen there, Tony Allen. So, Ray Allen, excuse me, Ray Allen, excuse me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's the generation of Celtics that I loved watching because it was a good fucking team. And then like they had Isaiah Thomas, you know what I mean? Isaiah Thomas, he was fucking hell of a player. That young Isaiah, he fucking man, I loved watching him play. And then they got rid of him. I think Nate Robinson was there for a while. Fuck.
Nate.
Man.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. So basketball, I always feel like, oh man, I always feel like there's so many points. Like they're just gaining so many points so quickly that it just seemed shitty. And baseball felt like the exact opposite. It was like 3 hours going by, and it's like 0 to 3, and you're like, what the frick? We're just
Well, I
drooling
mean,
for this friggin' points, and
yeah,
then the basketball is like 77 versus 100. You're like, what the fuck? So I always liked football because it's like always seemed like a somewhat of a fair middle ground. You get points reasonably, but not too quickly. You're not grinding for each
yeah,
point. You know what I mean?
yeah. I got you. I got you. Well, I suppose.
Who's your team for football?
Baltimore.
Baltimore, huh? Okay,
Brother.
okay.
I also like the Panthers too.
Panthers. I'm surprised you're not like a Pats fan or
No, no. See, uh, I remember when Carolina became a team because we were living in Charlotte at the time, and my uncle actually worked for the guy that founded the fucking team, one of the founders of it, owners, original owners, or whatever. So he got all the employees got season tickets and shit for that first year. So
nice.
my uncle got four of them, and I went to a couple games the first year. They were there, so I like the Panthers because of that. And then I was living in Baltimore in '96 when they become the expansion team. So, and plus Dad's from Baltimore anyway. So, and that's the first team I can truly remember like following.
Mm. There's a lot of nostalgia built into your favorite teams.
Yeah, and then
My
like,
favorite team when my life was the Cowboys, and of course, don't forget, when we were young, that was the who's who of football.
oh yeah, the '90s, the fucking Cowboys and shit
Okay,
like
so
that.
yeah,
They're America's team.
and then don't forget, I'm a woman, so I always liked the Dallas. I know it's gonna sound corny, but the cheerleaders, right? And I really fell in love with the team based on the colors. This is corny, but this is you got to remember an 8-year-old girl watching football with her dad for the first time. And how impressed I was by their cheerleaders. and then obviously they're winning. So they're winning. They have badass colors, awesome cheerleaders, and I did gymnastics and stuff. So that stuff was obviously impressive to me at that age. Um, and then they fell off, and just ever since then I decided to not switch the team because I didn't want to like be shitty and be like, me, I'm just gonna throw out my lifelong favorite team because they're losing now. I don't want to do that. So I'll stick with the Cowboys because that's what I've always liked, and just because they're not winning, I don't want to throw them away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. P is a Pats fan, of course, because he's from Massachusetts. So
Of course he is.
yeah,
Fucking Pats.
fucking Pats, especially now.
I mean, Tom Brady is Tom Brady, I guess.
I know, and we had Gronkowski, we had the
Yeah,
other.
but Gronk was always fucking hurt.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Um, then there was that other guy. I forget what his name is. But he played for a little while. He was a shorter black guy, and he did an amazing job. But he didn't stay very long.
Was it Randy Moss was there, I think.
Moss, maybe it was
You
Moss.
had
But
Randy Moss was there. Who else was there? Then you had was it Hollywood Brown?
Brown, yeah, Antonio Brown.
Yeah, Antonio Brown, yeah.
Um, uh,
And
and
then I remember when Teddy Bruschi had the stroke and then he came back. I remember when that was a big thing.
but I will say, I do love Belichick as a coach. I
I
love
mean,
his.
Belichick's wit is unlike it. He just his one-liners.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about one-liners. I mean, like it's very much this like old school tough love type of like coaching, like the type of coaching that's like for me and probably
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
P very nostalgic for us. Um and you just don't really get that like no bullshit, cut through the fluff, all hard work, all analytics, all and so I really respect it. I like that fatherly type you know essence, I guess, that he gives off.
yeah.
And even though his one liners can be corny, yeah. So yeah, I guess it makes sense that we pick our teams based on nostalgic, mostly childhood nostalgia.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's like I still remember the first Super Bowl I won. I mean, I watched and uh like who won and all that shit. I don't necessarily remember the score now, but it was uh the Rams won it and I think it was against the Titans maybe.
Hmm.
And that's when um Kurt Young he was no what the fuck's his name? Um Kurt, Kurt Warren. The fuck's his name?
Oh, I don't
Oh
know.
shit. Anyways, he was the quarterback of the fucking of St. Louis at the time of the Rams. Anyways, they wind up fucking winning, and that was the same day my grandfather died. So I
Oh,
remember that
geez.
one too. So
Yeah.
that was the first Super Bowl I ever watched too. In
Well,
2000.
another reason, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that I picked the Dallas was because my dad um, is from Maryland, Virginia area, and his favorite team is the Redskins. And
Oh yeah, I used to like Redskins too.
okay, so naturally, the biggest rival for the Redskins is the Cowboys, right? And
Yeah.
my dad used to get so heated when they were playing when they were playing against the Cowboys. So I was like, I am going to pick the Cowboys, and then I'm gonna have the other team. I'm gonna pick the other team that you guys hate. Good times, good times.
Right.
And childhood is so freaking short. It's too short.
Right. I tell my kid all the time, don't rush to grow the fuck up.
Yeah, it's too short. I mean, because really, you got to think, you know, I mean, kind of like below, 7, 8. I mean, yes, you're a child, but there's not many vivid memories before 7-ish. So you're really only getting like, a substantial childhood from around 7, 8 to 18. So it's really only like 10 years long. Um, it's not the full 18 years. Most of those years you're learning how to walk, you're you know learning how to do basic stuff, and then really getting the hold of the world around you, and things like that. And it's not until you're a little bit, maybe 6-ish, 7, youngest, that you're really, really like, okay, I'm a child, I can run and I can play and I can freaking do stuff and I can, you know be independent. So yeah, it only feels like it's like about a decade, and that's it. It's gone. And then you have 60 years of being old.
Right? Yeah. Don't rush up. Don't rush
Oh,
to grow the fuck up.
when I was young, I so badly. I was like, I wanted to grow up so fast. I was like, I just want to be able to do all the stuff you guys could do.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are my cigarettes? Oh, I think they're over here. Beep beep. Excuse me. I'm gonna maneuver around my cat. All right, I made it. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I don't
Oh,
want
you're
you
good.
don't want you to catch it. I know people hate when you yawn. And I'm gonna catch it. So you planning on staying live for much longer, or
I
what's
don't
the
know.
plan? You're just shooting from the hip.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, not doing much.
Yeah. I've seen you up here all by yourself, so I was like, I'll come up and hang out with you.
Right? I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got the day off. Fuck it. I got to come sit down here at the fucking beach and just watch the fucking tide come in.
It's really nice that you can still enjoy that small things, especially like when it's part of your job. And I feel like a lot of times when like men do stuff like a passion of theirs becomes their work, they lose their passion for it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yep. I
Okay.
mean, don't get me wrong. I hate going to the fucking beach and fucking just going and walking the fucking beach and sitting there, whatever. Like, I'll come sit here, like on a nice cool day like today, all that shit. Or if there's a nice breeze, but I ain't going to sit on no fucking hot ass beach with the sun fucking blaring down on me. I hate that shit. Wife gets so mad at me for that. I'm just like, well, I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Let's go when it's cooler, not when it's fucking hot as hell.
Yeah. Well, it's different. Enjoy different things about it. I know my husband doesn't. He doesn't want to lay on any beach. Definitely not. I can lay on the beach and he will be fishing the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we usually fish together, but I can only do that for a couple of hours. I mean, and after a couple of hours, I get bored of it. And he could sit there for 8 hours easy. And I just can't do that. I after like 3 hours, 4 hours, I'm at my limit. I'm like, all right, I'm done. Unless we're like on a roll and there's just like ton of fish coming in, then it's great. But like the patiently waiting and casting and casting and casting, and there's nothing being caught. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go relax on the beach, and he'll just sit there and sit there and sit there for hours after hour, and keep casting, and he loves it. So yes, you do your thing, but
Yeah.
well,
No, I like fishing. I don't
but
mind
I
it.
understand not really necessarily enjoying just laying around at the beach and trying to get your tan on.
No, I get enough tan working on the boat.
You know, have a couple of fruity drinks too. Lay on the beach, have some fruity margaritas, some fruity daiquiris. Gonna take a walk and get some ice cream. Come on, come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, if there was something like that, do maybe.
Oh, you guys don't have anything like that nearby the near the shore.
No.
So we got like a really nice boardwalk. So you don't even have to just walk. You can like there's a ton of people who do rollerblading, roller skating. There's a bike lane, and then they also have like they have little sections. Like every so far there's a little ice cream shop. Every so far there's a little place you can stop off and get drinks or popcorn shrimp or whatever, shucked clams and different things. You can kind of walk around and be able to do stuff and not have to just lay there and do that. I think there's also some gazebos and different things, cookouts. I see people doing cookouts and different things like that too. But it's
Yeah.
just so difficult, man. It's so difficult with all the sand and stuff. It's so hard to keep the sand out of the food, to keep birds away, flies away, just everything is just, it's like you're just fighting the elements the whole time trying to cook something with when you try to do a little bit of cookout on the beach like that.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
Wind.
Yeah, the wind, yeah, it's like everything's blowing away. All right, dang it. I did it a couple times and I was like, yeah, no, no, this isn't for me.
Right.
I'm just gonna pre-pack some stuff.
Yeah. No. Not for me. I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind cooking outside and on the beach if it's a nice day. But
I don't mind doing the cookouts. Like we have some really nice, really large lakes, and those are nice.
see, I don't mind doing that. Like, I'll go to the
That's
lake.
great.
I'll go to the
Yeah.
lake and shit like that there. But like
Yes.
to the ocean
The
beach,
ocean
I
is
just don't
difficult.
like. I'm just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, man? Because like, no.
It's and there's usually no shade either. There's rarely any
exactly.
shade. Where at the
Yeah.
lake, there's trees, there's over trees, there's picnic
Exactly.
tables, there's they already have
There's a
they
there's a
have
lake
the
we go to that's fucking. It's beautiful and there's a nice shade. Like it's that. Like there's a beach. It's that nice sandy beach. It's out in the
yep,
sun, but then you
exactly.
got the shade right behind it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nice.
That's like exactly what we have too. Yep. And we usually take the kayaks too. So we always take the kayaks. So we just do a little kayaking, do a little fishing, and then we stop on the shore, relax a little bit. Mr. P will relax a little bit. I do the grill, cook up the food, and we kind of chillax for a little while, and then pack everything back onto the kayaks and row back to the ramp. So that's always a great time.
Right? Yeah, no, I don't mind going to the lake, but the ocean beach. Like I said, like this cool day, I don't mind it. But
And not only that, for me at least, the water is just so cold.
yeah,
It's not comfortable. It's like I always feel uncomfortable. I'm always like sucked in. My freaking whole body is shriveled in because I'm like trying to get in the water, but it's freaking ice cold. No matter how
right?
warm it is, it's
Things
like
can cut
this
ice. I
sucks.
mean, things can cut glass.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like, oh, I'm just miserable. I'm trying to enjoy this water, but I'm miserable.
Exactly.
I like was doing what we were talking about earlier, like doing the tide pools because they're not as difficult to get to as the ones
No,
near
and they're
you
nice and warm
explained.
usually.
Yeah, things like that. I always love that stuff. Clamming is also good because you're only up to the water and like so deep, you know, so you're not freezing up to your chest. It's just a little bit of your legs. You get enough. You get cooled down, but you're not frozen.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, it is a nice day. Nice day. Where's Mr. P at? Sleeping or
Oh
working?
yeah, he worked. He worked all day yesterday, like morning into night. So he's he's hibernating.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he does. He does like a long stretches and then hibernates, and then long stretches and then hibernates.
Nothing wrong with that, I guess.
He's different than me. I usually do the opposite. I do very short sleep, and then I'm awake, and then short sleep, and then I'm awake, and then short sleep, and then I'm awake. But I gotta
Yep.
sleep 2, maybe 3 times in a day. But they're only for a very short time.
Yep.
He'll stay awake for 20 hours and then sleep for 10 hours, and then stay awake for 20 hours and then sleep for 10 hours. And you know, I can't do that. After 10 hours, I'm like, I need 2 hours of sleep. I need 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I like my sleep. That's for sure.
Me too. Me too. I
As soon
can,
as the 3 year
I'm a
old
good
asleep, I'm
sleeper.
asleep.
That's one thing I never had a problem with is being able to sleep. And I feel bad for people who have difficulty, like suffer with really bad insomnia and stuff. Because I never had that problem. I don't even know what it's like to experience not being able to sleep well. Well, especially you also work a laborious job, so I'd imagine when you're working yourself to a point of being tired, it's easier to sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is another thing is like I exercise like a lot, like several times in a day. Um, so it's easy. I find it easy to sleep because I make sure that I exhaust myself um, every day, so it's easy to sleep.
Yep.
Even if I'm sick, I still don't miss my workout.
Yeah, I work pretty much no matter what, sick or not.
Yeah. I figured. I'm gonna hop down though. I've been up for a little bit. I'm gonna start cooking breakfast here soon. And yeah, I'm gonna be banging pots and pans, and it's not gonna be easy. It's
All
not gonna be.
right.
It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be loud.
Yeah, I've been on here almost 3.5 hours. I think I'm gonna end it anyways.
Yeah, I see. I see that you've been up here for a little while, so I know I need to get me some breakfast, or I guess brunch at this point. But Mr. P will probably be coming out of hibernation in a little bit here, so
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes.
It's nice to not have all the drama and fighting and just be able to have a friggin' normal conversation here and there.
Exactly.
All right, darling.
All right. Catch you
All
later.
right. Bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. I guess nobody else is gonna hop up. I'm getting the fuck down. I got shit to do anyways. I can't be on YouTube all day. So yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.